Hi, everybody. This is Mike the Piper, and thank you very much for joining me today in the very first time I've ever played a brand new system. This is Star Wars by Fantasy Flight Games. This is Age of Rebellion, and hopefully this is going to be the start of a long-running saga, as long as all the players stay alive. I mean, little thing. And this is going to hopefully be great. It is called Heart of the Empire. Thanks for tuning into my channel. I've got games, I do stuff. These fine gentlemen below also have games, and they do stuff, and they have awesome channels, which they will tell you about right about meow. So the first person we're going to go on my left is going to be Dennis. Dennis, if you could just introduce yourself, plug stuff, and tell people what your character is kind of about.
Okay, my name is Dennis. I don't currently have my own channel, but I recommend those that are interested in gaming check out the Star Wars Tides of Change Facebook group, the OSG, as well as the WW3. You can find all kinds of games with all kinds of great players and DMs there. The character that I'm playing today is Varric Marr. He's kind of a different fellow as part of the Rebels. He's actually born and raised and trained to be an assassin, and that's kind of the role that he will fill. He has kind of an interesting past. He was actually sent here undercover to assassinate someone high up in the rebellion, but he found out that the people, his masters, were less than honest with him, and so he's kind of going rogue from that, and he's trying to find out what this rebellion is about.
Right on. Next person to the right of him is Dev. Dev, can you kindly...
Yeah, I'm Dev from the YouTube channel What the Dice, and you can also find me at the Tides of Change group as well. And I'm playing Kojamal Hajima. He's a Weequay saboteur who's a devout worshiper of the Weequay god Amshak. So he loves to blow up Imperial things and as tributes to his god of thunder. And Mike's a fantastic GM, and these guys are all awesome players, so I'm really excited and happy to be here.
Right on. Thank you very much, man. And of course, to the right of him, we have Gabe. Gabe, kindly plug yourself and all the appropriateness.
Hey everybody, this is Gabe B. I do not have a channel of any sort. I do love to play games, and especially with the Tides of Change in Star Wars. What can go wrong? Well, I'm playing a guy named Nick Tano. He has basically been through the Academy boot camp 4 times, and it's not because he was actually dropped. He was actually going to be training to be a trainer. He was doing boot camp over and over again to just excel his body, so his actual learning skills are pretty up there, but his actual skills are kind of low because he wasn't really using them. So now that they have called him to Echo Base, he's actually there to get to actually help out in the major war, and well, let's just hope he can go a little further for you guys.
Right on, thank you. And next up we have Ryan.
Hello, Ryan, also from What the Dice channel. Today I'll be playing Spec. He's going to be a Lepi medic. Lepi, if you know or don't know, they're the rabbit type species. So he is 25th of 30 some odd children, 39 children, and he spent most of his younger days plying his wares as a doctor in the Medics Without Star Systems organization. But when one of the locations on Ziost was attacked, he found himself unable to kind of keep going in this sidelines role. So he's kind of jumped into the rebellion to see what he can do to help out the people of the galaxy.
Cool, cool, cool. And last but certainly not least, we have John. John, if you can kindly introduce your character, yourself, and your channel.
Hi, I'm John from Red Dice Diaries, and I'm going to be playing Salin Noval, who is a Quarren who unfortunately ran afoul of the Empire whilst trying to pursue obviously entirely legitimate business interests, trading via starships, etc. And after his ship was destroyed by the Empire, he went looking for the rebellion to ply his trade as a pilot and hopefully strike back against the Empire's aggressive non-humans policy, him being a Quarren himself.
That's pretty sweet. Bonus points if you speak nothing but Quarrenese throughout the entire game.
Might be a little bit beyond me, but I'm sure I can certainly do a sort of vaguely Quarren-esque accent.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I believe it's something akin to Norfolk or Midlands, but do your best. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess without further ado, unless you gentlemen have any final questions, concerns, queries? No? Okay. Well then, let us begin. Session 1, The Heart of the Empire. Episode 1, Echoes of War. The five of you awake to the sound of a high-pitched whine, this high-pitched almost like a whistle in your head. The sounds are muted with footsteps, and even the console on the wall that had exploded not 5 seconds before is still sparking around you. When you hear over the system, "Imperial troops have entered the base. Imperial troops," and is cut off just as quickly. As you look up around you, Mercer, your blaster rifle lies shattered on the ground. A large chunk of ice has fallen from the ceiling and has delivered itself right through your rifle, rendering it completely and utterly useless. As the five of you look around, you see that you're in a corridor. Directly near you is a single door, and on either way down the corridor, it just seems to go along.
I point out to the rest of the group. Basically, I'm not saying a word, I'm just pointing out to go. And then I'll kind of do motions with my fingers, thinking they should know these. Basic academy, and just eyes, look, and kind of go. And then looking around, I'll find something, something that has some kind of weight, just so I can have it in my hands, have something. And there's really nothing. So I basically have to go to the door, and I'll start punching in the code to actually go through the door. And then I'll just go 1, 2, and then at 3, that's when I'll punch it. Hopefully they have taken position behind me.
Yeah, I'll have grabbed my pack from where it was lying next to my sort of sleeping roll, thrown that on my shoulder, and I'll have jumped behind where Tano is, sort of like trying to peer at the door, so as soon as it opens I can see what's through it.
Yeah, Kojima will have his blaster out, and he'll have taken a position on the opposite side of the door, ready to cover a different angle. And he's just standing at the ready and gives the nod to Mercer.
Spec would have reached down, seeing Mercer point to his eyes. He would reach into his med pack, starting to kind of talk to himself like, something for the eyes, something for the eyes. Because, of course, not having been through the academy training, he thinks he's got some ice chips in his eyes or something bothering his vision. And at the same time, you can hear him kind of whispering to himself, "Oh, heightened sense of tension, blood pressure going up, not good, not good, not good." Though he would then close it up and look to follow the others.
Seeing that Spec was kind of distracted, Varric will move in front of him using his arm to kind of push him to the side of the doorway as he reaches behind and pulls out his force pike, taking a kind of a protective stance in front of Spec as the door comes open.
And the door does open with relative ease. And inside, you find damaged equipment, which looks to be like communications equipment, just smashed beyond repair. There is one that is still seemingly okay and could still be used. And on top of that is a single data pad.
All right, I'll do a scout. Like basically, I'll step in, looking up, looking down, and kind of point to the pad, and I'll go like this. And I'm actually going somewhere else to grab pieces and parts, and I'll start putting them in my pack. Things that are a little bit more solidified and not necessarily broken. Anything, just kind of like they're just little pieces of like transistor little wires, memory chips, whatever, and even possibly even any type of weapon upgrades of small sorts.
And you don't really find any weapon parts per se. You do find a lot of chips. Some of them are actually like computer chips. Some of them are actually in pretty decent shape. What I'd like you to do for me, Mercer, is can you please add scrap to your kit list, and what'll be is that is going to give you a boost die to any mechanics on any ship or any parts that you may need to, any weapon or something you need to fix. So.
Okay, seeing that he's indicated the data pad and I'm sort of behind him, with my blast pistol held in one hand, I'll move across the room, looking around, try and pick up the data pad with my other hand and try and sort of activate it with my free hand, still sort of like looking around in case anyone attempts to enter the chamber.
Not a problem. Right now, it is a small room. There's only one door in and out. And as far as the data pad, can you please make me a computers check? And it will be a difficulty of 4.
That's not happening.
Okay, then. So, as you're trying to input and trying to start the thing up, as you're looking around the room, you seem a little distracted, and what you realize is that you've been trying to punch in where it says that it's password protected. You've been punching it in, and then you realize that the entire thing had a firewall that has basically just locked up. And it seems like it is a very heavily encrypted data pad.
I'm just going to sort of hold it back over my shoulder, still pointing out with the gun, and I'll say, the damn thing's encrypted, someone have a look at this!
And Kojima will take the data pad from Salen, and he'll kind of toss it to Spec, and in like a low, rough voice, he'll say, "Medic, see what you can do with this."
Not even looking up, the data pad will kind of strike me. Oh. But is Mercer okay? Are his eyes okay now?
Oh, never mind his bloody eyes, just get that data pad looked at.
Oh, right on. And he'll attempt to, again, be like, oh, I've got one of these, and he'll pull out his data pad and like, oh, shiny. And then he'll look at the data pad and try to open it up with his own skills.
Anytime you're ready, Spec.
Oh, is there a hurry? Oh. Advantage.
Okay. You definitely don't succeed. It is still locked out. But why don't you tell me what you're able to do to the data pad to kind of make it a little bit easier, or at least help it a bit.
So looking at the data pad really quickly, Spec will realize that while his own skill at computers might not be enough to open this, he's like, I know. And he'll reach into his bag and he'll pull out like kind of the Star Wars equivalent of like a USB cable, and he'll connect his data pad to it, hoping that the encryption breaking software within his already will match the encryption on the other one, since they're both data pads working for the Rebellion.
Excellent. And in that regard, it links up, and it says decrypting, and you just see a bar. Because even in a galaxy far, far away, they have that damn annoying bar that's like, processing 0%, 1%, and it looks like you think it's going to take a long-ass time for the data pad to actually fully decrypt.
Gentlemen, I believe this will take a while for us to do. Is this the safest place for us to be waiting around for a data pad to unlock?
And I'll put my finger to my mouth, and I'll look around. And is there an actual working screen somewhere in the base itself? Is the screen working?
So inside the communication room, there is one. The screens are all damaged, but one piece of communications equipment does seem to be working.
Okay. And is it a visual or is it only hearing?
It would only be an audio.
Okay. So I'll try to kind of like push the buttons like the up and down to get like different areas of the base itself and trying to get sounds through. And just kind of like hitting the tab until I hear something, and then kind of like try to identify kind of like where the area is.
Okay, so what happens is that you click onto one, and it appears to be coming from the kind of main entrance. There seems to be some like audio sensors that are around there, and you hear extremely loud blaster fire. You also hear a lot of people, people shouting, move to reinforce the hallway, go, and you hear more blaster fire, and then just move to intercept, commander, and just like stormtrooper voices like that, those ubiquitous voices as they keep moving in. And that is all you hear.
All right, and then I'll kind of hear it and look at everybody else, and I guess it's time to roll out. And then I'll just kind of quickly kind of dodge in between them. I'm not trying to push anybody to the side, but I'm just trying to get to the side to get through, and kind of voices down, just kind of doing that quick, and then just heading and kind of stopping at most corners and kind of get an ear view of sounds, and then kind of peek over if there's no sounds whatsoever.
Okay, sorry. I was going to say, Mercer, if you could please make me a perception check, please.
Perception, okay. And what's the difficulty?
The difficulty will be 3.
All right, and because our lives depend on it, I'm actually going to use a destiny die on it. Our lives depend on this. Okay. Don't hear anything or see.
Sir, permission to scout ahead on point. My perception's higher.
And I'll nod. Like, okay, if that's where his strong point is, then yeah. Because I don't know anybody's abilities, so.
Yeah, whoever is going, who's going out on point?
Kojima will move to the front, and he'll just move slightly ahead, and just following Mercer's lead, he'll do the same kind of thing, stopping at intersections and corners, checking for clearance and things like that. And yeah. Okay.
So you guys are still inside the communications room right now. So you're about to leave the communications room. Is that correct, Kojima?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless anybody else has anything they want to do in here.
Would we know where? Sorry,
No, go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, presumably we know that the plan is when this place comes under sort of massive Imperial attack, the idea is to sort of get while the going's good. If that's the case, would we know the layout of the station, including like where the ships are located, effectively the launch ports for the ships?
You kind of have some idea. I mean, you've only been at Echo Base for like 1 or 2 days, so maybe your orientation isn't 100% well. You do know that there are a few signs at certain intersections that kind of lead to certain hangars and things like that. You do know that there are 2 hangars. You know that there is hangar number 7, which is where all the starfighters are kept, and that is at one end of the base. You also know that there is the Gallifrey hangar, where all the medium transport ships are usually kept, and also shuttles.
Okay. As sort of Kojimal's heading past me, then I'll just sort of like put a hand on his shoulder and I'll say, "We need to get to the launch bays. The Empire's launching a massive attack. We need to get out of here."
Roger that. Confirmed. Fighters or shuttles? How do we want to get out of here?
Well, can I have the rest of you fly a ship at all? I'll say to the sort of...
I can't fly, but I can shoot.
Well, I'm not an expert, but I'd say given the noise I can hear, that's probably going to be a useful skill very shortly.
And I'll quickly look at them all. If we're even going to get to them, we have to live first. Do we even know how many we have between here and there? No, none of us have that answer. We have to get through. Once we get through, then we see what we can deal with.
Can you get anything up on the scanners about enemy troops or anything, Mercer?
And then I'm kind of like looking at my, I don't have any scanners on me. The only one that we had was in that room, and that was just audio, and they're coming through the main door. And if we're even going to even try to catch up with the rest of the crew or get to a shuttle, we have to move out now.
Well, let's do it then.
Eyeballs only, double time.
This sounds dangerous. Be careful out there.
Dangerous is your middle name.
Stay in the middle, medic.
Fairly certain that was my brother.
Yeah, I suggest you come with us. Staying behind here is not going to be much bloody safer soon.
So I'll move to exit the room on point, and basically I'd like to lead the team safely and carefully as possible, but we'll go towards the hangars until there's a point where we have to make a decision regarding which hangar we're going to go to. So we'll continue on carefully checking corners and things like that until we reach that point.
Not a problem. So I'll let you know now that so when you exit the room, if you go left, you will be on your way to getting to the Gallifrey hangar, where the medium transports had left, and where like other shuttles are kept. If you head to your right, you will head down to Hangar 7, where the all-too-famous Millennium Falcon was, and some of the starfighters were kept as well.
Gentlemen, I believe there will be many injured incoming. Perhaps we should make our way to the medical bay where we can assist others.
The people in the medical bay are either already on a transport of some sort. Those rooms should be empty. If there is anybody, and I'll kind of like heaven forbid, but we're going to be too late. But if you need to stop there for any supplies or anything, it's not a bad idea.
Well, I will certainly follow you, gentlemen. I am not going anywhere on my own, that's for sure. But
and I'll tap Kajimal on the shoulder, like, wherever you want to lead us, it's your choice. You're the one that has the eyes and ears for us right now.
Okay. I recommend that we do our best to cover the evacuation and retreat of the troops. So if we can do anything with fighters, then let's go there first.
I agree. The best thing we can do is buy them some more time.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll go right, I guess, towards Hangar 7. So again, checking corners, stopping in corners, and moving carefully as possible, but as quickly as possible as well.
Not a problem at all. As you exit the room, Coach Jamal, can you please make me a coordination check? That would be a difficulty of 2.
Okay. Advantage.
Nice. So as you come around the corner, I would like you to tell me how you just narrowly miss colliding with one rebel soldier.
So I come out of the room, and there's you know, we were, before we went in the room, we saw a lot of people rushing around. The base is just in turmoil and chaos right now. And just as I come out, I can see through my peripheral vision that there's someone rushing in. And I'll just basically just jump to the side against the wall as he goes past.
Excellent. So just as he rushes past, he stops and kind of looks at you and then almost past you into the communications room. He's a human. He is disheveled. He has burn marks over his like emergency weather gear. He's holding a light blaster pistol. He looks at the five of you. And, why are you guys still here? Why didn't you go to the Gallifrey shuttles? Why aren't you out of here? Aren't you guys new?
And I'll look at him and kind of look at his rank from his little stripes or bars. What do I see?
From his rank, you can tell that he is a sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant. We're actually on our way right now, but the communications room is dismantled and already barred. If you wanted heading their way, you ain't going to find much. I suspect you actually get to your shuttle, we'll make it to ours. Promise you.
Well, I'm headed near the hatchway to the surface. That's where all the Imperials seem to be coming in. Listen, and you can tell that instead, while you guys are going to go right, he's actually going left. Look, if you guys want to get out of here, just get out of here as quickly as you can and regroup with the rest of them. But we gotta stem back the Imperial tide to let you guys and everyone else get out of here. I was just at Ion Control. The walkway to the ion cannons are destroyed, so the Imperials aren't going to come that way. And he basically points back, in other words, to the right, where you guys would go down the other way. He points down at a corridor that seems to just kind of like disappear into in your peripheral vision. So
what's the comlink frequency for this operation, Commander?
Look, I work ion control. The big cannon, yeah, I make it go boom, okay? I don't know, I'm not privy to that kind of information. We only have handheld radios. So listen, do whatever you can and just get the hell out of Echo Base. If not, you're gonna die here. And he
Sergeant,
goes,
we need our help. We're gonna come with you. You can't make it by yourself. If you're gonna be joining them, at least we can offer help and get you there. And I'm kind of like I'm making a decision for a team, but it's part of my I can't just leave him to go by himself and down the corridor to at least meet up with his team, and it's just part of what I have to do. And I'm just like, if anything, you have at least me.
The whole time this is happening, Specs kind of like reaching almost up over Mercer's shoulder. High levels of stress. Light burns. Just take care of those. And
I
probably they can't even hear him because they're both
appropriate reaction under this case. Spec, to be perfectly honest.
I should take care of that. So I'm gonna open up my med pack while they're talking, and if there's enough time before they actually even whether they notice me or not, I'm gonna attempt to give him some medical attention. So is there enough time before they start moving, or is that kind of not going to happen?
Well, the sergeant he's ready to go. Like he's moving. He's trying to move over because he's got his buddies are down there, basically near the hatchway, kind of trying to keep the snow troopers at bay to keep them from coming in. He kind of looks at you, Spec, and he says, "Look, I know what you're trying to do, all right? But I've got 40 guys sitting near the hatchway, getting the snow troopers at a choke point. It's our only way in right now, providing that Hangar 7 is still okay. If Hangar 7's not, then we're going to have a whole mess of trouble coming from behind us." And again, he is pointing to the right. So
fine. What do I know? I'm just a doctor.
Sergeant, give us our orders. What do you want us to do?
Get out of Echo Base. I don't care how you do it. I don't care where you go. Leave now. Save yourselves, and we'll all hook back up at some point.
You heard him. We need to get to the fighter base. At least we can give them some air support.
And I'll kind of say this saying that I've heard people saying, and The force be with you. I just heard him, and I'm not saying it correctly. I'm just kind of like, I think that's.
And also with you. But I'll take a good blaster right now. And he goes charging off down the hallway, away from where you guys, the opposite direction of where you guys were headed.
Send your wounded this way.
And I'm like, yeah, he's not the only one without a good blaster. And I'll kind of like start, tap Kajima on the back, and so like, we have our order.
Yep, let's do this. Let's move. And then I'll go back to point position and exit the room and start to go, continue our way to Hangar 7. I think you're muted.
You know, I love my Blue Nessie. It is a fantastic microphone, but that hardwired mute button, I'm gonna hit it with a hammer. I swear. Anyway. So as you head down, you immediately see another corridor that seems to just like go in the distance to your left-hand side, and then you have the corridor that goes forward and then jogs to your right a bit. Like it just seems to have like a little like kind of a 45-degree turn to the right. And yeah, so that's where it's at right now. There are scorch marks and still like snow falling from the ceiling, as the base is definitely getting a pounding and it is being overrun. You know that in a situation like this, most of the transports are pretty much away, and that's pretty much where you're at.
Okay,
What?
so we go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was going to ask what the specific environment of these hallways that we're going through. Are these like the ice hallways?
That is correct, yes.
And what is the lighting like? Is it, flashing darkness and such, or is it pretty well lit?
It is still very well lit. The main power generators haven't been destroyed yet, so you still do have a lot of light available to you.
Are we getting any vibrations as we're moving, like it's being shelled or bombed, or any explosions going off nearby?
That is correct. Every so often it does shake a little bit, and like a small dusting of snow just kind of seems to, fall from the ceiling, and it still gets very, like you could definitely tell that this place is getting like shot to hell. So that's kind of, and it could be coming from either the AT-ATs, or it could be coming from orbit as well.
Okay, so in the midst of these like echoing booms that we hear, and the facility shaking, and frost coming down from the ceiling, and still like some occasional people running down hallways, we're just gonna continue on our way, blasters out, and checking corners until we get to Hangar 7, or we run into hostiles.
Right on. So as you make your way around, you do see the doors. You come around the corridor to a hallway, and you do see the doors on the left-hand side down a small corridor to the hangar number 7. A little ways further, you also see another door on your left-hand side that you think is probably the pilot ready room, but you're not 100% sure. And then the corridor does keep going on. You hear some noises coming from just down a little ways, and it sounds like panicked animals.
Okay, so I'll say to the others, looks like the Tauntauns are this way, but the fighters are to the left in the actual hangar.
Well, I know which one I think will be more useful.
Absolutely. So we'll keep moving into the actual hangar where the fighters are.
As we head past the pilot ready room, I'm just going to see if I can sort of like hit the door release, so I can just not go in, but I can just sort of like glance into the room as we go past it. Is there anything useful for us in there?
As he does that, I think Spec at the same time would be like, well, adverse environments in space and all, we should really all suit up and make sure that we're safe.
Yeah, there's actually a door. If you keep going past the main door to the hangar, you can actually enter the pilot ready room itself. As you know that there are two doors. You'll go through the main door to the hangar. You can go through the door to into the pilot ready room with another door that leads into the hangar itself, because that's generally where they get their briefings and other things like that. So you can go through. You can go through either way.
Okay, so we'll definitely stop at the ready room, and Kojima will just take up position outside of the door. He'll let Salen go in and the others, and then he'll follow in last.
Okay. So as you open the door, you see several seats arranged with like long kind of semicircular tables, kind of just in rows, and on top you see a view screen, but the view screen has been cracked, possibly by the shelling. Again, it's almost like cracked and frozen, but it's frozen on an image, and that image is almost looks like you can't really tell because it's on an angle, and you just kind of want to look, but if you kind of tilt your head a bit, you can see that it looks like an H. And it looks like an H, but an H with crossed vibro swords through it. And again, it's blinking, so you can kind of make it out, but it kind of looks like an H with crossed vibro swords, maybe?
Would I be able to make an intelligence lore check on that?
You most certainly can. And that would be a difficulty of 3.
Okay. So as I step into the room, I'm just kind of having a look like, that symbol doesn't ring any bells.
See if you can download any of the data into your data pad, Spec. I'll say as I'm looking around for like any suits or any like equipment I can pass out for the rest of the
Oh, jolly idea! Jolly idea! I'm going to check on the status of the other data pad as well to see how that bar is moving before I download anything.
Not a problem. You actually see it's at 25%.
About an hour to go on that. I'm not sure how much downloading I can do on this one. Do any of you gentlemen have a data pad?
You said an hour ago before.
It's not an exact science.
Computers are not my specialty, medic. That's more your department. So Kojima will quickly search the room for weapons. He's going to try to see if he can find any, leftover blasters or anything like that he can pass off to Mercer.
Not a problem. I'll tell you what. Make me. What am I going to do for you? Make me a perception. You know what? No. Matter of fact, hang on a sec. Make me a
coordination check.
Make me a xenology check. No, I'm just kidding. That's
oh my god.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. Who takes that? I mean, really.
I got this.
No, definitely make me a perception check, please.
Okay. 2.
And it'll be a 3.
Okay.
Well, the others are.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, while the others are searching the room and doing what they're doing, Varric is going to stand in the doorway, kind of keeping an eye on the hall.
Sure. Excellent. Definitely make me a perception check as well, please.
So that's a success and 3 advantages.
Oh my goodness, yes. I'll tell you what. Not only do you find a weapon, but tell me what weapon you do find, as long as it's under a rarity of 6. Tell me what you find for Mercer.
Okay, I'm not sure about the exact rarity, but would it be possible to find a blaster carbine rifle?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, I believe that's a rarity. Yeah, that's a rarity of 3, if memory serves me correctly.
Standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I'm opening up the lockers and in one of the lockers, there's like one of the pilots just discarded his basic gear when he put on his pilot gear, and he just put the rifle in the locker. And then I'll just find that there, take it out, and hand it to Mercer, and there you go. See if this helps.
All right, and just for sake, which one was it? Which carbine? Blaster carbine?
Yeah, just a standard blaster carbine. Just
Yeah, that's not much of standard. All kinds of blaster carbine. There we go. All
I'm
right,
trying to find anything else.
and that is heavy. Nice work. I'll be like, nice work. We'll make a soldier out of you yet.
Seeing
I've been a
as
soldier for a long time.
seeing as Spec's data pad is currently occupied, he would then be thinking of the group now and the fact that we're all getting onto these ships now, and he would start pulling out any pilot gear that he could find, like the breathe masks, the helmets, the environmental suits, things like that. If he could find anything like that.
definitely. You find about 3 pilot suits that are in pretty decent working order. Oh, sorry, Dennis. What was it that you got?
I wanted to double check what the difficulty was before I did my roll.
Apologies. That'll be a difficulty of 3. Excuse me, difficulty of 2.
It's like nada.
Wash.
So you, yeah, I mean, you hear some like very faint blaster fire coming, like just echoing down the hall, and just kind of echoing like throughout the hall. So you don't really hear anything in particular, and other than seeing again, like this, the ceiling kind of just dusting down with snow from the explosions and the thudding of the artillery. You don't really notice anything.
Seeing as we found 3 of the piloting gear, Spec would like to do a quick xenology check on his companions to know which of his 3 would most likely need to wear the suits in any kind of adverse space environment.
Sure,
Who would benefit most.
Sure, that's not a problem. And given that they're all common species in the galaxy, just make me a 2.
Okay.
I think that's perfectly acceptable. You know that. You know that for the most part, the pilot suits would definitely help, but you do know that the Y-wings are both like also shielded, and although it would be pretty beneficial for them to wear a pilot suit, it's not, a life or death scenario by not having one.
All right. Gentlemen, I've located 3 suits for us, but there are 5 of us. Perhaps whoever will be flying the actual ships should be the ones to wear them. So, who will fly?
As Spec is talking, so I'll hold his hand up. I quickly open up the carbine, checking out the energy reading, and kind of like quickly maneuvering the weapon as if I know exactly how this works, and just kind of like listening and watching them and messing with the weapon itself, make sure it's ready.
Okay. So everything
We're
is.
planning to take. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if everyone's good, you can move on, or you can pick a different way of going.
Yeah, I'll move over to while that's going on, I'll be sort of shouting over my shoulder to Spec as to what sort of things he should be looking for, since I know sort of typical clothing a pilot wears. And as I'm doing that, I'll move over to the door to the actual hangar bay, and I'll open that. I've still got my gun drawn, and I'm sort of by the side of the door in case there's any unpleasantness waiting for me on the other side.
Excellent.
Kojima will take up position on the opposite side of the door to back up Salem when he sees that he's going to move into the hangar.
I'll do that thing where I'll hold up my 3 fingers and then go like 2, 1, and then I'll open the door so they're ready for it.
Spec will not even notice, and he'll try to walk between the 2 of them.
And Spec is trying desperately to get himself killed.
Yeah. Who patches up the medic?
I know. I thought leppies were rabbits and not lemmings. What is with that?
I just gotta keep moving. Gotta keep going. Gotta keep going. Skipped basic.
They have attention. They have a lifespan of 1 session, 1 game session.
Oh, man.
Thank God for the 38 siblings.
Yeah.
So you open the door, and immediately you can see in the background, you see the Millennium Falcon, and it is starting to get prepared. You see Captain Solo running aboard, shouting, "Come on, Chewie, get on board!" Yeah, I know that was the worst Han Solo. I'm sorry, Harrison Ford. If you never watch this, which you won't, I'm sorry, Harrison. Okay, okay. Anyway, so he shoots on board. Chewbacca, which I do an even worse Wookiee. He begins to run on board, and the hangar bay, given that where you are, is just white, like tons of white. There are 4 Y-wings situated along one side that look like they're just sitting there. And there are also 4 snowtroopers that were currently firing on top of on the Millennium Falcon, and they have not noticed you yet.
I will step through, and because that's Captain Solo. That's basically someone that's very important that has to get through, and I'm just going to start. I'll step in and move to the right as if they're going to follow me with their eyes. And I'm just going to shoot that first one, because if they shoot him, that Falcon is basically of no use, and we need our captain alive. So I'm going to protect the captain at all costs.
Okay.
Kojima will grab. So when he sees the snowtrooper, at first, when he sees the Millennium Falcon, he sees Captain Solo and Chewbacca going in there, and he sees the Millennium Falcon's getting ready to fly. He just thinks to himself, just like a smuggler, only looking out for himself. And then, but then he sees the snowtroopers, and he sees the Spec walking ahead in front. And first thing he's going to do is grab Spec and just haul him into any kind of nearby cover. If he has to get behind another fighter or get behind a crate or something, if he has to bodily throw him there, he will. But ideally, he'll take him, and the 2 of them will move into cover.
Okay.
Oh dear, what's the fuss?
I'll just be running towards whichever seeing that Spec has been sort of dragged to one side. I'll just sort of nod, my eyes still wide from going, the fuck is going on here? Is he just walked past us? And then I'll start running towards the nearest of the Y-wings, thinking there's weapons on board that we can potentially use to stop these stormtroopers, and I'm far more equipped to handle it when I'm on board a ship than I am on the ground. That's really not my thing. So I'll just be running towards the nearest shuttle as fast as I can to try to keep as many of the ships between me and the snowtroopers as I can.
Okay. So we'll just kind of go off on the ship is starting, the Millennium Falcon is starting to power up. As you guys go out, not only do you see the 4 Y-wings, but you also see a Lambda-class shuttle sitting there as well. And it's just sitting there, closed up, but the landing gear has been extended, and it looks like it kind of looks like it's ready to go at a moment's notice, but you don't see anyone in it. It's fairly empty. So you have an opportunity this is where you can choose to go with to run to the 4 Y-wings or run to the Lambda class shuttle. And in case you guys don't know, the Lambda class shuttle does have weaponry. Because some
Would
people.
I know from my piloting knowledge which of the vessels has the better weaponry? Because at the minute I'm just thinking I need guns to stop these snowtroopers rather than
Not a
which
problem.
one flies the best.
So I'll go through, and this is the part where, because I'm new to this game, I'm pulling out Old Faithful, because Old Faithful has got all the knowledge. Now I do know, well, from your piloting knowledge, actually, tell you what, just for the heck of it, because you are under fire, make me a piloting check, space difficulty of 2, because that'll give me enough time to look it up.
While you're looking it up, could I make a curious out-of-character question and ask who can fly in space?
I have a 3 green, so if necessary,
green
I
as
can
well.
be there. Okay.
Varric has 4 green.
And that's 3 successes and a triumph on my roll to work out what's going on with the ships.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. Oh man, wow, that's like, and you'll have to excuse me because this is my only other game other than D&D, but that looks like a nat 20. All right, so this is what you know about the Lambda class T4A long range shuttle. It is it has a primary class 1 hyperdrive, which is excessively fast. It's one of the best. It also has a backup. It has a navicomputer. It does have a sensor range, but it's not very long range. It's generally short, but that's still pretty good. You know that you'll need to successfully pilot this vessel. You know that you'll need a pilot, a co-pilot, a navigator, 1 gunner, a comms operator, and an engineer. You do know that you can carry a lot of gear in it. You know that you can. You know that it has. They generally are supplied well with rations and other sorts of food in an emergency. You know that it has 2 forward-mounted twin light blaster cannons. You also know that it has 2 forward-mounted twin light laser cannons, and it has an aft retractable twin light blaster cannon to the rear that can generally make someone's day rather unfortunate.
Based on where all this sort of racing through my mind as I'm running across the sort of snowy cavern that serves as the launch bay, looking at the position of the ship, would I be able to use the weapons to actually fire on the snowtroopers based on the angle that it's sort of parked at?
So the angle that it's parked at, you would be able to bring the front guns to bear. The gunner would be able to sit in the vehicle. You'd be able to fire the front guns at the 4 snowtroopers, and as you're leaving, when the retractable aft guns come into play, you can still fire at them as you make your way to freedom.
Okay, in which case sort of skidding to a halt as I'm sort of initially heading towards the Y-wing, sort of kicking up snow as I sort of literally slide to a halt, thinking about the shuttle. I'll look around and then I'll gesture to the others towards the shuttle and I'll start running straight towards it.
Okay, because you also had a triumph, I'll just let you know what the Y-wings do have: turret-mounted ion cannons, medium laser cannons, which again are excessively good against like fighters and heavy craft, and also proton torpedo launchers, which is good for, well, pretty much anything that you want to put massive holes in or make disappear. So that's definitely another thing, and there are 4 of them, but they're slightly further away.
Yeah, I'm heading towards the shuttle. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, this is obviously some sort of stolen Imperial vessel that might serve us well when we're trying to get out of here. Maybe we can slip by unnoticed. So, as I said, I'll gesture at the shuttle and I'll just be pounding across the snow and the ice towards where the shuttle is. My initial plan being, if the others get there sort of significantly after me, I'll be looking to just jump in the gunnery bit and fire the guns at the snowtroopers by the Millennium Falcon sometime. Otherwise, if they're sort of level with me, I'll be jumping in the pilot seat and relying on one of them to take up the guns.
And realizing what Salen is basically pointing at and saying, I'm actually going to give him cover fire, but that first shot I actually don't want to give him. I want to actually shoot someone. But basically, once they start moving out, then it's going to be just cover fire
Okay, and I think at this stage we will roll initiative, and it'll be now. This is the part where I'm going to be a little fuzzy, and what we'll do is we'll use our cool.
Yep.
Because we're cool like that. Okay, yeah, that was terrible. I know. What was I thinking?
It's okay. Kojima's not very cool either. He's only got one dream.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Oh, ignore that roll. I left some of my dice on.
Wait, you left some of your dice out? Oh, it's a simple check. Yeah, so it would be no
difficulty.
No difficulty.
There we go. 1 success and 1 advantage.
Very nice. So unfortunately, you guys might have to assist me on a couple things here.
Okay.
So a success and an advantage. I see that Ryan, you have 2 successes and an advantage.
Yep.
Dev, you have 1 success, and I have 4 advantage. With that, now, just by going on that would mean that Ryan would go first. Is that correct?
Ryan does go first.
Yep.
And from the looks of it, the snowtroopers go last.
Yep.
Right, because of the
Dennis will be
success.
second, looks like.
Okay, cool. See, this makes me feel good. 'Cause this is the only way I'm going to learn.
Now,
Ryan,
just out of curiosity,
Dennis,
too, Mike.
John.
Yep.
Are you going to use it where the orders we make are the orders we go, or they're PC slots versus NPC slots? Like, can we change the order depending on who should go, like who we want to go next, or is it going to be the order based on what we rolled, literally?
Generally, I'll go with the. Actually, why don't I leave it to you guys? Because you guys are the
Yeah,
players.
we had a lot of ties, so we want to do Ryan first, and then anybody who had, which is Dennis got
John.
1 with 2 advantage, so he would go second, and then we have like the rest are basically ties with
Well, then there's John after that.
Devin going second to last.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah. If like I said, if there's ties, if you guys just want to do your thing, then that's again totally cool. Whichever, like, when it comes to that, like if you guys all agree on who wants to go next and what you want to do, that's fine. So then our first up, Ryan.
All right. So Spec, having been kind of bowled over by Kojimal as he kind of gets launched into unwitting cover, is going to kind of like and kind of separate himself. Oh, sorry, Kojimal, I didn't realize I was standing in the way. And
Keep your head down and get to the shuttle.
Get to the shuttle. Yes. That's the plan. Yes. And so first thing I would do is again stand myself up, take a quick look around, and then start running for the shuttle. As I'm running for the shuttle, though, I think that Spec would also kind of have a quick look around to see if there were any other injured rebels or anything like that in the area as well, or if it's like a fully open and empty kind of thing other than the stormtroopers.
It is empty. They're like most of the starfighters are gone. The X-wings, there was just a few Y-wings left, and that's pretty much it. And the snowtroopers.
Yeah. So knowing that, then Spec would definitely kind of run in an arc. He wouldn't go directly. He would in this time he now knows that there's battle underway, not looking to get involved in it at all. So he's going to kind of run kind of away and then circle around towards the Lambda. So it might take him a little longer to get there, but he thinks it's going to be a safer route.
Okay. So now, what you can do, it will take you 2 maneuvers to get to the shuttle. You are able to use 1 maneuver, or if you would like to add 2 strain to yourself, you could probably make 2 maneuvers to get to the shuttle in 1 round without exposing yourself.
Yeah, I think that Spec would do that. He would take the strain on that one, just because he's not interested in getting involved in a fight at this point when he's been literally shoved out of the way to be kind of saved in the first place, and secondly, kind of pushed along to get to the shuttle as the primary command, seeing there's nobody injured currently. He's just getting out of there.
Awesome. Okay, and I believe next is Dennis, if I remember correctly. Varric?
Yes. So from our position in the doorway, where are the stormtroopers compared to the shuttle?
The stormtroopers are essentially like, maybe about 20 feet from you. Like they're not exceptionally far, but because all of their attention is focused on firing at the Millennium Falcon, which is starting to lift off, they weren't paying 100% attention to you. But one of them is starting to notice that there are people like running in, like whether it be a temperature change or just like motion, like.
Is he like near the back of the others, or?
Yeah, in the cluster of four, there is one. There's one that's like a little bit further behind than the others, just like taking up aim and trying to take out like aim shots at the Millennium Falcon.
And would I be able to reach them with one maneuver?
Oh, easily. Yeah, you should. Yeah, should be. Yeah.
Okay, then that's what I'm going to do. I'll leap down and as silently as possible run up to try to interrupt that one that's aiming for a shot.
Sure.
And attack him with my force pike.
Okay. Just for shits and giggles, make me a 1 difficulty stealth check, just as you're kind of sneaking up, because like their minds are taken away from it, but there's always a chance there's like a little piece of snow you could slip on or what not have you.
So 1, 2, 1, 2. You said 2 difficulty?
Actually, we'll make it 1 difficulty. I know it seems kind of pointless, but just in case.
Yeah. Things happen, especially on the ice, right?
Watch as like 4 triumphs or something. It's like, and we're done here.
So 1 success and 3 advantage.
Very nice. And we can even almost call that 2. So not only do you successfully sneak up behind him, but tell me what those 3 advantage look like.
Is this the one that had started to notice that there were people coming in, or is this a different one?
This would be a different one. Although like this one's mind is focused solely on taking out the Millennium Falcon.
Let's see. So yeah, basically, the advantage is that obviously that he doesn't hear me come up behind him, and I'm going to basically use the advantage to, if I can, to basically, I'll take him by such surprise that he will not be able to react as far as to warn the others, make any kind of cry or anything like that.
Excellent. And I'll tell you what, I'll say that would be, if you want to use 2 advantage and say that is part of it, I'll leave you an extra advantage. If you want to say that, if you want to like give anyone a boost die for the next round.
Sure, yeah. Maybe that's what I'll do is I'll use that to kind of move him away from the others, and because as I'm running by, I see that Gabe is getting ready to take a shot, and to open that to make one the one that so I'm not going to be interfering with his shot, and he'll have a clear shot and give him an advantage on his shot.
Awesome, awesome. So make your attack with your force pike.
And that's the other thing. I'm not quite clear because it does Pierce 2.
So Pierce 2. So snowtroopers have a soak of 5.
Okay.
So basically, Pierce 2 means that we pretend that it's only 3 soak instead of 5 soak.
Okay.
Yeah. So you just basically like move right past it.
And I'm also going to take a strain to add a boost dice to my attack as part of my innate abilities.
Right on. Then, if that's the case, yeah, make your attack roll. It'll be a 2, difficulty of 2.
So 2, 2, 2, and I think double check if that's 1 blue. Yeah, 1 blue. So, So triumph, I guess.
Damn, son. Okay, well, now that not only have you completely and utterly what you can do, so you can all we'll do one or two things because triumphs, as far as Age of Rebellion, at least as far as I've read in the game, triumphs you can either have a critical hit, or what we can do is you can change the story in such a way that taking this guy out has some definite beneficial properties.
Can I have it that as I hit him, his shot goes off, but it actually is going into the group of his fellow snowtroopers?
Oh my, yes. I can't think of anything. Yes, that is. Yes, we'll do that.
And so basically, as I'm coming in, I kind of time it just right as I'm bringing, because basically it's almost like, I'm walking up behind this guy. He has no idea I'm there, and I just take a moment, calculating the angles, and just as he's going to fire is when I swing and try to aim the shot into the group.
Sure, and what I'll do is I will make an attack for him to see if he blasts his buddy. That. Yep. He shoots his buddy all right. He shot his buddy good. So you have a you definitely got the one. He's incapacitated. Actually, no. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm being foolish. Please describe to me the cinematic movie-esque beauty that you've just done to 2 out of the 4 stormtroopers.
Okay, so basically, as the door comes open, everyone begins piling out. Varric sees the scene unfold of the Millennium Falcon preparing to take off. The snowtroopers beginning to open fire as their fearless pilot begins making for the shuttle. And he kind of runs out the door full speed past the others with perfect grace, his cloak kind of whistling behind him in the breeze that he's creating from his speed. With soundless steps, he comes up behind the unsuspecting snowtrooper. He brings his force pike back, and just at the right moment it cracks on the side of the head, actually cracking the helmet. Immediately, the legs just fall out from the guy as his shot goes off and slams into the back of the snowtrooper in front of him.
Oh, that's nice. I like it. Okay, so who's the next one that was going to be? I think it was going to be. Sorry, I'm just having a look. Oh, yeah,
John was next, I think. Sailing.
Yeah, because I think it was a tie, right? Yeah, it was a 1 success, 1 advantage, and Gabe, I think you also had a success and an advantage.
Yeah, and John's going to go ahead and take the next.
Okay, not a problem then. Like I say, I'll be, as I'm sort of climbing up into the cockpit or whatever of the lander class shuttle, I'll risk a quick glance around to see how many of the snowtroopers are still remaining.
Okay, just to let you know, and sorry, I'm not trying to kill your game.
Okay.
So the Lambda shuttle has an opening in the back that just kind of opens up into a ramp. So there's a console on top that you just need to basically punch in. Punch it in.
I'll be looking to hit that then, and as the sort of ramp comes down, I'll be sort of standing to one side, so as it comes down, I'm behind the ramp. And if I can take extra strain to get up the ramp and into the ship, I'll do that. If that's not possible, that's fair enough.
Actually, what does happen is just before your hand touches the console, it already opens for you. The landing, basically the boarding ramp already comes down, and you can make it up in one go.
Okay, like I say, glancing over my shoulder, can I see how many of the snowtroopers are remaining?
There are 2 snowtroopers remaining out of 4.
Okay. I know that Mercer's not launched his, no doubt, devastating salvo yet, so I'll be running up the ramp and just looking to like dive into the cockpit as quickly as I can, relying on them to take out the snowtroopers and sort of getting the engine on and getting everything activated, ready to get the hell out of here as soon as we can.
Great idea. Right on. And then from there, we will pass it to Mercer. Or actually, I apologize. Before we do transfer you to Mercer, sorry, John. I know you. So you did have the one maneuver to get up, and you were able to get up, pop into the cockpit. And do you want to use your action to basically just start the ship?
Yeah, I'm just bringing all the systems, weapons, engine, etc. I'll be like pulling the controls and pressing the buttons just to get everything online. So as soon as the other guys are ready, we are good to go.
Sounds good. My apologies. I think I just misinterpreted.
So good.
All right then, Mercer.
Quick look back to the last one left, and it's a Kajima. As I get to the ship at all costs, and as I do, I pull up my rifle and kind of seeing the action that just happened of our stealthy Varric. I didn't see him at first either until it just happened, and it was just kind of like, 'cause I was already assessing the battlefield, and I'm seeing this fight, and I'm like, okay, he's got training. I can work with that, and I just started shooting, basically, and I don't really yell anything. I just kind of like basically just do what I do with the Kajima. And we'll let the rest of the dice. And because you haven't said anything, I'm actually going to use a Destiny die.
Ooh.
Because it's got to be. Take these guys we out. And what's going to be my difficulty?
So your difficulty now that they are getting they're aware to your presence, it'll just be a difficulty 3 because we're gonna go through it and you're just gonna.
All right, and I'm glad I did that then. And okay, so it's 3, so I have 9 damage plus technically 2, so that's going to be 11 points of damage with 4 threats. I'll let you tell me what the threats are.
No problem. So you take a perfect snapshot, and one of them drops, but you have to kind of step up a little bit to get the one. Because he almost seems hidden, but you can get it because you've seen your training and you've done this and you've had some of these smaller targets that just appear and you can hit everything. And you want to show the rest of these guys that you're now with your abilities, and unfortunately that kind of brashness has cost you, and now the remaining snowtrooper is going to get a boost die. When he fires at you, which, if memory serves me correctly, I believe that it is his turn. All right, no.
and because of the brashness, that is going to put a strain on me because it's hurting my ego. And technically, it would be Dev's turn or Kajima's.
Okay, so the last thing Kojima did before was he helped Spec out. He sees Spec run to the shuttle. He sees Salen go into the shuttle. He sees Varric ghost his way over and expertly take out 2 guys with one shot basically. And he's with Mercer, and he sees Mercer take his shot, and Mercer says, "Run to the shuttle." And then he sees that there's one snowtrooper left, and that one snowtrooper is basically just lining up his sights on Mercer. And Kojima thinks back to the days of the Hook Wars on his homeworld, and he's a veteran of those wars, and he's been in lots of firefights, and he never runs from this kind of situation. So he'll say to Mercer, "We don't need to run from this vermin." And he's still in his cover position from where he put Spec before. So he'll just pop up and he'll aim his blaster, and he's going to try to take out this guy before he can line up on Mercer. So it's 3 purple?
Yeah, it'll be 3 purple.
Okay, so he's aiming, so I'll add the...
yeah, I think that's an added boost die, if memory serves me correctly. And that does count as your maneuver.
Yeah. So I'm going to stay put and just aim and pop this off. So I got a success, so I hit him, but there's one threat as well.
Okay. And help me out. You're using a blaster pistol or using a blaster rifle?
Blaster pistol, so it's 6 damage for that.
Okay. So his the remaining snow trooper, you definitely go into his armor, but you see it just kind of like you just see his shoulder kind of roll back a bit with the hit, and again it has left also you exposed. So now the last snow trooper alive, kind of he looks at the two of you that are still remaining, because he doesn't even notice Varric, because Varric's a ninja, and he raises up his blaster rifle, and he will fire at Mercer.
And last thing Kojima says before that happens is he just says to Mercer when he sees the shot hit the guy, but the guy doesn't go down, he says, "We go back together, or we don't go back at all."
All right then. Well, so he definitely hits you. He definitely, not only does he hit you, but he also hits you in the leg, and he basically gets you pretty good for so 9 damage minus. Oh, you're right. I apologize. That was foolish of me. Thank you. I'm gonna re-roll that, because that's something that well, hopefully this is gonna help. Come on, big money, all the whammies. There we go. Nice. Look, I don't want to kill you guys. I mean, come on. Okay, so
harsh GM alert! Harsh GM alert!
No, I didn't see that he didn't roll the two difficulty.
Yeah, and that was foolish on my part. Exceptionally foolish. So he does hit you, but of course the threat being that he kind of left himself really exposed for another shot. So we now bring it back to Varric.
And you said that was 9 damage before soak?
9 damage before soak, yes.
Okay.
There you go, Spec. It's your time to shine.
You could do stuff now.
So, would Spec have been able to see Mercer get hit? Or would he be at the shuttle and not able to see from his angle?
I did not go towards the shuttle.
No, I know that. But I just mean in terms of my relative position to your relative position.
Yeah, if you were at the shuttle and you were starting to board, you definitely would not have seen. You wouldn't have seen him get hit.
Okay, so in which case I would punningly hop into the the cockpit, and I would look to Salen and say, "Where do you need me? Gun.
Can you fire a gun?"
Yeah. Actually,
I can.
Hold on, because it is actually Varric's turn to go. So, okay. Varric, you got to stop being so silent and ninja-like. You got to say something, man.
So there's still one left, correct?
That is correct, and he is hurt a bit.
Okay, so the weapon also has the stun setting. How does stun work? That
He does strain instead of wounds.
okay, so
It also has to be activated, though, too. It's an active ability.
yeah.
So you have to get 2 advantages on your roll to activate the stun.
Oh, for it to activate?
Yep.
I thought it was a manual setting that I could put on. Okay, well, I'll just do basically, and you said that he didn't notice me either yet?
That's correct, yeah. His attention is focused solely on both Kojamal and Mercer, because they're the ones that are shooting at him. So he's not paying attention to you, he's paying attention and shooting at them.
So, like a natural predator stalking his prey, his hooded gaze will flick to the snow trooper as he kind of circles around, bringing his blade up slowly as he closes the distance, and then takes the swing. And actually, he'll be, well, I don't know, I have no particular aiming, so yeah, he'll just take a swing. Okay, so. So is it, what's the difficulty? 2, 1?
It'll be the same difficulty as
2.
last time. Yeah, it'll be 2.
And I will also take another strain to get the boost die. So, so 2 hits, 2 advantage.
Okay, tell me how you take this stormtrooper out, because this guy's all kinds of done.
Okay, so basically as he stalks up behind him and he gives the force spike a twirl in one hand and then catches the hilt with his other hand, and almost, despite the grace that he has shown before and a very casual, almost baseball-like swing, he just cracks him on the back of the head, pitching him forward to the ground. Again, the helmet's cracked, and you can actually see a pool of blood starting to stain the snow as it moves out from his head.
Nice. And with that out, with that stormtrooper completely out of commission, you guys are now out of combat. So you're now free to run around, like scramble.
Grab it. I'll yell out, grab anything that's useful. Everyone, get to the ship.
Everyone get on board quickly!
So Kojima will run over to where Varric is, and he'll just try to quick grab anything like guns, or if they have any frags or any kind of weapons or gear, just that's visible immediately on their person.
Yeah, and among the 4 of them, you find two light blaster pistols and 2 blaster rifles. You also find 1 frag grenade and 4 vibro knives.
And Kojima will just when he sees the frag, just his eyes will lock on that, and he'll just scoop that one up right away, and he'll just look at it and just mutter under his breath, "From shock," and then he'll just attach it to his utility belt, grab whatever gear he can carry. And hopefully Varric is grabbing some stuff too.
Yeah, I'll just scoop up whatever, but he'll slide one of those vibro knives into a pocket for use later.
And the only thing useful I'm going to grab is probably the snowtrooper that I shot, and I'm just going to hover him over my shoulder because he's got a couple things on him, and I'm not going to go through it right now. And I'm going to carry him on board.
Yep. So I'll sling a blaster rifle on my shoulder and start getting back to the shuttle.
Right on.
So I think seeing Mercer come on board first, Spec, who's kind of almost reached the cockpit, will kind of hear him coming up the ramp, and he'll turn around and he'll see that he's got some blaster scoring on his arm, kind of, and drop the 3 environmental suits, and he'll just run back to him, seeing the trooper over his body, and this time you'll see him kind of, for the first time, even though he's moving quickly, almost like a calm at this point. And so he kind of grabs him by the front of the armor, pulls the dead stormtrooper off him, and almost like shoves him into the wall and onto like a bench seat on the side of the thing. And he'll immediately try to heal his wounds.
I'll try to get up. I'm like, it's only a flesh wound. We're not out of the clear yet. Get him out of his armor.
No. We've got to take this. It's now. Do you know the space diseases that can come from this? No time.
And I'm going to not try to pull rank because I don't know what rank he is, but I'm going to say, and who's going to shoot the guns if we need to get out of here?
Well, the others will take care. No, you're injured. It's important. You're injured.
Heal later, guns now.
And hear that? And I'll push him, and I'll kind of like, look, if I'm hurting, I will come to you. Right now is not the time. I don't have time for pain. And then I'll quickly go to the gun, because I know that's my spot to be.
Spec's gonna kind of stand there with his arms out, like just like unbelieving of this scenario, like that somebody would be injured and not looking for heal. Like he doesn't know what to do now. He doesn't know what to do.
Spec, is everyone on board?
Roger, aboard.
I don't know.
Here.
What about Barry?
I'll be like dumping the
Nobody can
gear
see
and the guns on the floor of the shuttle.
From like in the center of everybody, he'll be like, "I'm here," and he'll dump his load of weapons to you.
Oh. Right,
Yeah.
everyone strap in, we're going down fast.
So as you say, strap in, everyone, you see the Millennium Falcon begin to lift and take off. And directly out of the door that you had just come out of, into the hangar, there are 7 snowtroopers bursting forth, and more just keep lining up, starting to come out. You can tell that a couple of them are setting up heavy repeating blasters on tripods, beginning to try and shoot out. And
Someone get to the rear guns, take them out.
I'll put on the communications device that basically go on for where the gunner is. It was connected to the whole thing, and I'll say, "Cover Captain Solo at all costs," and I'll start aiming to the first one that's setting up, and I'll just shoot in their vicinity in the area of setting up the gun.
okay.
Are there separate gunnery positions, or is there just like a gunnery console that operates all the weapons? Or is there like separate positions?
There is a rear, you almost call a turret, just a rear gunnery platform that would fire out the light blaster cannons. There is also a forward weapons array for a gunner, and right now, directly in front of your shuttle, is where all the snowtroopers are.
And that's the position I took. Where the
So Mercer's in the front position, and Kojima will look at Varric and say, "You want the rear guns or me?" Hinting that Varric's better at it.
I thought I took the front gun. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have front guns. No, you took front guns, but there's a rear position as well.
There is a rear position.
Yeah.
At that, Varric will nod from beneath his hood as he heads to the back.
Okay, so Kojima will just strap in then.
Kind of still standing at the near the back platform. Spec's kind of in a bit of a huff. He's gonna close the rear ramp that's there, and just kind of like muttering to himself like, "Oh well, gunshot GSW, left shoulder, and 6 stitches. I guess he doesn't need them now." And he's gonna walk over to the computer console and just kind of sit down, strap in, take out the 2 data pads, kind of like a little bit angry, and kind of settle them down on the thing, and just start watching the bar.
And
firing up the engines, and then over the intercom, my voice will come and I'll say,
I apologise for any turbulence during this flight.
So,
Roger that.
so this next question is for John, or excuse me, Celine. So, Celine, you have the opportunity to just fly forward and then out of the hangar bay. If you fly forward, you will effectively, quote unquote, run over several of the stormtroopers, as well as firing cannons. So basically, you can just peel out with Mercer, firing away, and then you guys can just take off into the great beyond.
what I'm going to do is, as the lander class shuttle lifts up on its manoeuvring thrusters and the main engines fire out the back, I'm going to sort of angle the front of the ship downwards, sort of relying on the inertia to move it forwards, so it's sort of slightly angled down. So literally we can fly across them, and Mercer can strafe their position as we head out into the wide blue yonder.
And they say that bowling was never found in a galaxy far, far away, as stormtroopers just go flying You see a heavy repeating blaster cannon just like fly off its tripod, barrel roll through the air, skip and smash against the the side. One thing I'd like you to do though, just for the heck of it, because I have this picture in my head, but I want to see if you can roll it out. If you can roll me a piloting check, and we'll make it a difficulty of 2. If you get a triumph, I want you to make this the most ridiculous, over-the-top, B-movie-esque escape.
No, unfortunately not. It's 1 success and 1, is it despair?
It's a threat.
Threat, sorry.
So you definitely knock a whole whack of them over. As you're about to leave, you notice in a sea of white, you see a figure in black begin walking toward as you're starting to take off, and suddenly the ship stops.
I'll be sort of holding on to the controls as it's like shaking, sort of checking instrumentation, not really knowing what's going on, but seeing this figure sort of striding forwards. He's the only new variable in the scene, so I'm going to assume that somehow, I don't even know how, that he's responsible. I'm just going to shout to Mercer on the comms, whoever that is, we need to take them out.
What's going on? Why are we moving?
And I'll
get out of here.
And I'll look at what he saw as he said my name. Look, and I'm actually going to aim the gun up above the ridge before he can actually enter into the room, and that's where I'm going to shoot to bring down and basically bring a barricade between him and us, because I do not know who this guy is and why he's dressed differently. And that's the only thing I can do is just kind of, he's going to have to get through that to get to us, and by that time, hopefully, we can be out of there.
To be fair, and I mean, you've all heard the stories about this guy.
Oh, do you know who he is? Okay.
Oh, you know who he is.
Okay. I didn't want to assume anything.
No, that's cool.
But I still do that because it's whatever. I don't know what he's doing, whatever, but he's coming in. And if I could stop him from actually entering, that's, instead of killing all this, I can take this one shot to bring down some of the ice.
Sounds good. Make me a gunnery check.
All right.
Looking at the exterior camera feed on the computer, Spec just says, "Oh dear."
And what's the difficulty set again?
Oh, sorry, well, it's gonna be. I just put it as 2, but yeah, it'd be difficulty of 2.
All right.
Yeah, seeing the figure, Varric will actually unstrap from his gunnery position and stride up to look through the front viewport and study this black-clad figure that he has heard these rumors about.
I imagine as Varric sort of ghosts his way into the cockpit, I'll be sat there concentrating on the instrumentation, trying to peer through the snow at this black figure. Then a black figure materializes next to me, and I'm like, ah! Oh! Yes, Varric!
Eric, stop sneaking around on everybody.
I don't have enough to worry about without cardiac arrest.
Spec's ears come up.
Cardiac arrest. Kojima will unstrap when he sees Varric leave the gun position and move towards the cockpit, and he realizes that there's some major threat outside that's stopping their progress. He'll also unstrap and check, and he'll see what's going on. And he's got a different idea of what he's going to do. He'd like to move to the side hatch of the shuttle, and he's going to hit the console. He's going to open up the hatch. And how far away is he from us right now? This figure.
Right now, he is basically like maybe 30 feet away, and he's just got his arms out, and he's holding your ship, keeping it from moving forward.
Does that qualify as short range for cinematic purposes?
30 feet, yeah, I would classify that as short range. And around him are like more stormtroopers that are like running forward, and they're starting to lift up their blaster rifles, and they're pointed at you guys.
All right, to resolve my roll, I roll 2 advantages, and I'm going to yell at Cosmo, hit my target now. And I'm actually going to give him a boost die from my 2 advantages I just basically I hit it, but I weakened it. I didn't actually break it down, so hopefully his shot will actually be the case that we can break that big chunk of ice down.
Right on. Can you make that a thing, Kojamal?
Yeah, like what I like to do is if I see him that I can generally get to him within short range, I'm gonna unclip that frag grenade from my belt that I just picked up, and I'm gonna shout one more time, "Framsak!" and I'm gonna just throw it out through the hatch directly at this black-clad figure and the cluster of other snowtroopers that are nearby him. And I'm hoping whatever he's doing with his arms stretched out, that he can't do that for multiple things at the same time. But I don't really know. That's just what Kojima would do.
Fair enough. I will.
Sorry, guys, if we blow up our ship with a frag grenade.
Shortest campaign ever. No.
There's more in the hangar. We'll just go back for another one.
So I will make a discipline check for our black-clad individual. Whoops. Pay no attention to that one. Pay no attention to. Yeah, I was gonna say. By the way, yeah, no.
Do you want me to roll for the throw for the grenade?
Yes, please, and please make it a 3.
Okay, I'd like to flip a destiny point for this. If you guys are okay.
Sure.
Just make sure we can do that. And so I was.
And you're going to add a blue.
Yeah, yeah. And I'd like to aim actually and add another blue. So hopefully it just goes well. Just let me check. This is range light for a grenade. Yep, okay. Cross your fingers. Oh, come on. So I don't know what that means, but I got a triumph and 4 threats. I don't know what that means for a grenade going off. Let's see what the 4 threats are first before I see what the triumph is. Amshak was not with me this day.
Triumph is pretty good no matter how it works.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. However bad the bad is, hopefully we can still pull something out of it.
Hopefully it'll at least be enough to distract him, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
there's still a grenade going off somewhere.
The triumph is yours to describe. It is a success. The threats, however, are mine to discuss. Okay?
Yep.
So, triumph, take it away.
Okay, not knowing what the actual threats are, so I would say this grenade was aimed at the black-clad figure. So I guess if we're thinking that did this succeed in going off as a grenade, or how do you want to consider this? Or did it miss him, or what?
Like I said, you describe it going off, but I'm going to tell you what happens. Which means I already have evil things planned for you, so I wouldn't even worry about it.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna say this grenade then did basically just plunk down right in the snow, close enough to him, and it detonated. I can't activate the blast, but it does detonate as a grenade next to him. So that will happen. And the triumph is there's just such a eruption of snow and ice and the concussion. That these guys, anybody there is blinded momentarily. There's just like this mist of snow, essentially. And the triumph could be that the concussion of the blast loosens the ridge that Mercer was shooting at previously, and that ridge is going to come down now as well.
That is perfect. I think that's brilliant. And it does. It does. And the blast was so perfectly placed, but the blast went off just a little bit close to the ship, and the impact not only hits the stormtroopers and what the hell, Lord Vader, but the concussive blast goes through you, and almost for a second you almost feel Amshak's glory hits you, but the concussion, the oxygen being sucked into that central point pulls you out of the shuttle, and you're holding on as the shuttle is beginning to like make its turn and leave out, and hopefully someone is going to pull you out or back into the ship.
Are we free of whatever force was restraining us? Or?
Oh, most certainly. Vader reels back, and
In which case, not knowing the dire straits that Kojima's in, without a trace of irony in my voice, I'm just going to shout, "Hang on!" and turn the engines up to full.
So
Kojima's just hanging by one hand, his left hand.
if I'm not mistaken, I think everyone else is like blindly looking out the front window of the shuttle, whereas Spec is looking at the external camera feed. And I think that at first he wouldn't know what it is, but he'd see this kind of waving thing in front of the camera every once in a while, and he's kind of looking at it for a moment. And I guess to give it game term, I'd like to make a perception check to see if I know what it is.
It's my legs flying in front of the camera.
I'm thinking you've been looking at the external camera feed, and sort of his face is like.
Here's the bad news. Okay, let's find out what the difficulty is. Mike, what would the difficulty be?
You know what? You are a medic. You've seen body bits before. You know what? I'll tell you what. We'll make it a difficulty of 3, but gives yourself a boost die because I
Just
like
so
it.
you know, this is not going to go well for Kojima. My perception is 1 green.
Okay.
No idea.
Patch me up when I fall.
Well, would it be safe to assume that he might make some sort of sound, either one of them, either when he was falling out or once Spec?
Yeah, I think that
notices,
Spec
it seems
wouldn't be
like-
able to say what it is, but there's something on our ship.
Well, I mean, given the fact that you guys are traveling out of the hangar bay into a frigid, icy wasteland, basically it's like driving through Alaska in the dead of winter with your windows rolled down. You'd kind of feel like, gosh, it got real cold in here all of a sudden, and what's that massive whistling sound?
And screaming from Kojima.
So
Get
yeah,
in the ship, you bastards!
Varric turns, and actually I imagine like some snow and wind whipping through, briefly blowing back his hood to reveal his dark mask, which hides his expression, his brow furrowed as he makes his way to the open hatch to investigate.
Very cool.
And you see Kojima hanging by just one arm, and his legs are flying around, his whole body's flying around from the wind, the intense wind as we rise higher up. And I'm like, Varric, get me back in there!
As I kneel down, is there something to hang on to, some kind of anchor point or something that I can grab?
Yeah. Well, there is like a kind of a small railing when people like leave and exit. There is like a bit of a hand railing you can before you step down onto the area like to go down the side hatch. So
Okay,
there is something to grip.
He'll grab that with one hand as he reaches down, grasping the free hand, the wrist of Kojimal, and gives him a hard pull to pull him up.
Right on. Please give me a 3 athletics check, please.
Given the precarious situation, I will suffer a strain to receive a boost die on using the brawn ability.
Oh, thanks, man.
Well, I don't want to lose my grip and fall out too, so
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
But you don't have to know that.
Nice.
Okay.
So yeah, 2 successes and 3 advantage.
Well, you definitely pull him in, and I don't think we really need to go on a serious advantage. You pulled him in, you saved his life. Tell you what, the advantage if anything could be you didn't like you didn't dislocate his shoulders. You were like, throwing him in.
Spec would turn around and be like, "Hey, the thing's gone from its. What are you guys doing?"
Kojima picks himself up off the floor of the shuttle, and he's like teeth are chattering, and he's just shivering from the intense cold of being really high in altitude. And he's like, "Oh, I'm shocked be praised, but that was glorious." And his eyes are just like lit up, and he's just so excited about that. And he just claps Varric on the shoulder and just says, "Thank you, my friend. Hopefully one day I can return the favor."
Varric nods, thinking to himself he hopes he doesn't have the opportunity to do so. He would not want to find himself hanging outside of a ship like that. And then he just kind of reaches up and hits the button to close the door, then moves back to his gunnery position in the rear.
I had actually wondered if someone was gonna mention closing that door, but I guess that means I don't get to space you guys.
Maybe next time.
Yeah. So as you guys head up into orbit, you begin to, Celine, see a red light that is blinking right at your console.
Do I know what the light represents?
The light represents what looks to be like a kind of like a voice message. Like there's messages, like I guess like think of it like it's not only a ship but it's an answering machine. So there's also like something that people can store messages in, things like that. It's one of those like kind of a communications HUD.
So still keeping most of my eyes on the view screens and the scanners, and like one hand on the controls that's shaking under my grasp as we go into orbit. I'm going to reach out and quickly press the button to activate the message and then put my hand back on the controls.
And once you hit the button, and this goes through the entirety of the ship, every PA system, everything. If you're listening to this, then it means you've come aboard. Because only your biometrics in a 20-meter radius will allow the hatch to open. Now, you're probably confused. You probably don't quite understand what's going on. You only know that you need to get to Imperial space. But I'm here to tell you that you, or rather I, or rather we, are on an important mission for the Empire. Agent, you, or rather myself, are a deep cover operative for a group known as Unit 88. We have a job, and of course, if you're listening to this, then Admiral Ozzel has given you all the information you need to board the vessel, recover the data that is encrypted in this vessel, and bring it to a Unit 88 representative. Fortunately, Admiral Ozzel, who is a member of Unit 88, has given us all the information we need in order to completely wipe out the rebellion. What is on the ship? The master list. For several years I have been we have been a deep cover operative working in communications for the rebellion. We have all the secrets, all the reports, every safe house, every cell, every sympathizer, every one is on this list. And you have it, or rather, I have it. And well done, Agent, for assembling this list. Now you're probably wondering how this could possibly be real. After all, you know where you come from. You are a rebellion soldier. Or are you? Part of our transformation into the individual that is you, who is not me, is extensive surgery and memory replacement. If you wish to know more, and you probably do, because after all, you'd rather be me than yourself, head to Bestine. There you will meet with an individual by the name of Jix Oren, another agent of Unit 88, and one you will turn the ship over to. You will not fail. This ship has certain capabilities, very good capabilities, but the agency, they will not be wise to have one ship go missing, and they will not miss it. They will see. We have our eyes everywhere. So, you might as well come back. And the message clicks off.
Are you kidding me?
I'm going to be sort of on the comms. I'll be like, does anyone have anything they want to share with the group at this point?
Mercer, how's your shoulder?
And
Manic, trying to find that list. Where's this data?
and I'll yell out because I'm forget I'm on the comms, and I'll yell out to I should have lost my train of thought. We have to get communications to General Riken right away. He has to know this information was done. Can you get in contact with them?
A little preoccupied at the moment.
By the time the message finishes, Varric has left the gunnery position again, standing just in the room past it with his force pike out as his gaze is moving over the group, trying to assess if they indeed have a traitor aboard and what exactly is going on.
How's the bard doing?
Where we're going.
Sorry, what was that?
How's the bard doing on our data pad?
Oh, right. I thought you'd forgotten.
No.
The bar is now at 78%.
Okay.
And you have now officially broken orbit. You are now in space. In space, you see 2 Imperial Star Destroyers to your right. If I were to put a distance on it, let's say they're about 4 or 5 kilometers away. You also notice like TIE fighters are kind of like flying about. You can definitely tell them in the background. And there's at least one Nebulon B frigate that is kind of encircling close to the Star Destroyers.
Unless anyone's got any better ideas, I'm just going to pick a nearby system and start making the hyperspace calculations.
Sailing, get us out of here!
Before he's even said that, I'll be sort of like one hand on the controls, sort of turned to the side. I'll be trying to quickly work out the hyperspace calculations with the whatever star charts we've got, just looking for a nearby system that can get us to and away from this massive Imperial fleet that's ahead of us.
Not a problem. And please make me a 3 astrogation check, please.
Okay. That's 1 advantage.
Okay. You are... First off, which system would you be aiming for? Keep in mind at this point, you guys all have a general familiarity with the galaxy map. If you guys do have the galaxy map, please feel free to open it. It's not, it's not metagaming or anything. If you guys want to have a look to see like what star system you want to go to, and we'll do it that way. This is my bad. I kind of screwed up. I should have asked where you're aiming for before I said make the roll, but
Okay, well, as I said, if there's any systems sort of within our range that are, I don't have the galaxy map open, if there's any systems within range that I know have sort of alliance bases or any sort of rebel alliance sympathies, I'll be just pretty much picking one of them at random.
Yes, you can pick one of them at random. You can also go to, as the message said, you can also go to Bestine, and for the most part, as long as you like pop into, hyperspace, you'll be away from any issues. Now, as we're about to pop in. We are at the time for a tide change. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're just going to give a little 2-minute blurb as to where you gentlemen are going, and we'll give it in such a way that maybe you guys quickly talk it through. You guys are able to convince each other where you want to go, and from there, we'll vote as to where you're going to go.
Well, I don't know that I would necessarily want to go there, but like the thing that I would propose is that when Salen punches in the coordinates, that the controls are actually overridden and automatically take us to the place that was mentioned in the recording.
Okay, Kojamal?
Kojamal would also like to go to Bestine, but what I'd like to propose for the tide change is that when we find the data, the list that's in this ship, this master list that the voice said was in this ship, we can find some. We can find out something about one of us. There's like something about one of us on that list, something that could be disturbing, shocking, whatever. You can decide what that might be, but that's what I'd like to propose.
Okay. And Gabe?
All right. Basically, I think the best thing to do is probably go to Ord Mantell, which would be almost the opposite of Bestine. And that would give us time to find this master list, since we probably can't get in contact with any of the fleet or have the identity of where the coordinates are for the rendezvous. That would give us plenty of time to kind of find or locate this list and then see what kind of information is on there before we actually make any real decisions.
Sounds good. Okay, next up would be Ryan.
All right. I would say that in kind of following the same vein as people here, that we are able to locate the list fairly quickly or easily on the ship. And as a result of that, we now have access to literally all of the coordinates in the galaxy of all rebels and possibly even some Imperial locations as well. And that based on our conversation after finding this list and its rebel and Imperial locations, that we, and again, it might be a little bit after the point where we find the list though, but we choose either one of the rebel locations where we can meet up with one of the generals to offload the information, or we ourselves go directly to an Imperial location for the purpose of kind of using this information against them. So like running our own kind of undercover mission.
Right.
Using the list as kind of a bait.
Okay. And next up, John.
Okay, I'd like to suggest for a tide change possibility that one of our people manages to access the list and find like the hyperspace coordinates for the nearest sort of rebel alliance sympathetic system and shouts them out, and that's when I punch into the system. And just at the very moment when I hit the button to send us into hyperspace and we do that thing and disappear, they manage to access the list of what's supposed to be the name of the deep cover Imperial agent, but actually all of our names are on that list.
Whoa.
And they sort of shout that out just as I press the button, and
That's pretty wow. All right. So for those of you who are watching, um, I really agree. This is a bit of a, not exactly a very specific tide change. I know it is quite broad, but I will go over it again, and then I'll type it into Facebook so we have like a little 10-15 minute break. Varric has put forth that that the players should definitely go to Bestine, and that the controls are just overridden, and it's like, no, by the way, you're going to Bestine, and that's it. Kojamal has also suggested going to Bestine. However, the list gets opened up, and everyone learns something about one of the players that is quite profound, quite shocking. Mercer has suggested that they go to Ord Mantell, and that they find the master list. They start working on finding that as quickly as possible. Spec has opted that they find the master list rather quickly, and now have an entire database of every known rebel position, and I would assume act as a complete separate, like the Star Wars equivalent of the A-Team, that's kind of awesome. I say that Gabe is B.A. Baracus. Anyone else? Yeah, I know. Well, you're a badass. Come on, Gabe, just accept it. Anyway, and then finally, Celine has suggested that they just go to the nearest system, and at the last minute, the list pops up under agents that all of them are agents, which was pretty crazy. So I'm going to type all this up into the Facebook, and we are going to have a 10 to 15 minute break, depending on how fast I type and smoke and go to the bathroom and stuff. And then we shall come back and continue the Heart of the Empire. Thank you very much, actually, to the one viewer who's still watching, which is probably me or Andre. Anyway, enjoy, and we look forward to you on the Tides of Change. So I'm just popping back in right now just to see how things are going. So I need to check out this Q&A app. Apparently people can ask questions. All right. So yeah, Bestine, not the capital, but the beautiful oceanic planet of Bestine, is where they were mentioning in the message. You know, and I'm still a little confused as to why both the comments and the live chat doesn't want to seem to work for this, which I'm just kind of like bashing my head against a wall because I just can't figure out why it's doesn't want to work. So I don't know if you guys have had the same experience or not.
It generally seems to come down to whether you've set up the live event via YouTube or via Google Plus.
Okay, yeah, because I set this up through Google Plus, and the other times that I've set these up through Google Plus, like, you know, you can comment as you will, and you can, you know, do other bits as you will.
I don't know whether it's due to the two of them splitting, but I've certainly found recently that only when I've set them up as live events through YouTube has the sort of chat bit worked properly.
I blame the internet. Spend a little bit more time trying to sort this out, a little less time on the Kardashians, will just be just fine. Well, we're almost all back. We're just going to wait on a few more minutes for Gabe. But it looks like so far, Kojamal. I'm assuming I'm not allowed to vote, so that's why I'm just kind of.
Yeah,
Sure, you can vote.
Vote either.
Go for it. You're
Yep.
definitely allowed to vote. Sure. Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
How about 4 times?
So actually, oh yeah, so you have. Huh. No, you know what? I think as the GM, I think I'll just I'll stay out of it. Yeah. But it looks like, yeah, it looks like Kojamal's got it.
So I hope you have something really shocking and disturbing about one of us, because I have no ideas. That's as far as I got.
You mean despite the fact one of us is like an Imperial sleeper agent?
Yeah, we can piggyback that idea onto this, but it'll be one of us instead of all of us.
I'm not sure what's going to be more shocking than that revelation. To be honest.
And it's the pilot. Funny how he just happened to, activate the ship without even touching it. I don't know. Very suspicious.
Well, the one thing that the message did describe was that you only had to be within 20 or so feet, and the ship just opens up.
Yeah. And who's that?
That's why he's been trying to heal us all. He's actually reaching for like the poison capsules in his belt.
Where are those cyanide capsules? Dang it! Jill must have left in my other pants. Jeez. So your ship has punched the coordinates in for the planet Bestine 4, otherwise known as Bestine. And as the stars begin their twinkling lights begin to start streaking, and your ship powering up just shoots past. It's almost like a moment of calm aboard. Now it's a fairly, I mean, the Lambda class shuttle, the long range Lambda class shuttle. A lot of people especially if you've watched the movies and that, you don't really get a sense of how big the shuttle is, and it is fairly large. There are a few rooms, and like some like crates and things like that, and there are other all sorts of bits and bobs and lockers and whatnot have you. One of the things, and I assume that the five of you, well, at least the four of you as one individual, would be kind of hard pressed to be making sure that they don't hyperspace themselves into an asteroid. As the four of you begin searching throughout the ship, one thing you do find is a small data pad, and on that data pad is information about a very secretive sect. And it is a secretive sect of assassins. And at the end of this report on these assassins, you see in the final statement, beware the prime, for the prime holds the key. And that is all.
Sitting back at the computer station, and kind of finding this information, I've got kind of the three data pads spread out in front of me here, waiting on the bar for the one, slaving off the second one, and now getting this information on the third. I'm going to try to look through the computer logs to see who's accessed the ship and see if I can get start putting together like a timeline of events for this particular ship, like from the point where it reached Hoth to the point where we got on it, to see if we can put together any information out of that. So sitting at the terminal, Specs kind of, his ears are twitching away as he's kind of thinking in about 12 different directions at once. Sets the two data pads up so he can see the slave and the other one with the bar going, and he kind of tosses the other one back because he's read it now, and he starts typing furiously away on the computer, trying to figure out what's happening here.
As we're in space, I've had time to hear this message again in my head over and over, and I grab the two blaster rifles and the carbine rifle that was found, and I plot right in front of Spec and put the guns on the ground and start taking them apart, and kind of like showing, well, I mean, I'm sure he's paying attention, but I'm there in front of him. He can do whatever he wants, and I'm just going to start taking apart the guns, get the best pieces, and make one big gun out of it. Basically, all the superior parts of all three of the guns, and then kind of put the other two together as well. You never know when we're actually going to need those, but I'm going to start taking apart the guns and right in front of Spec.
Now that Spec is kind of engaged with this computers thing, he's almost forgotten about Mercer. But seeing he's kind of sitting there now, he doesn't want to take the time now to go through the process with him. So he kind of reaches into his bag while he's still typing and just stim pack and just right in like back of his neck kind of thing. And then just keeps typing and like doesn't even pay any attention to him, other than to kind of maybe like a quick glance out of the side of his eye and twitch of the ears in his direction.
So Koljamal, he's gone to the cockpit area, and he's seen the coordinates that Salen has punched in, and I guess we're moving towards Bestine, but he's still thinking about that message, and that's eventually their destination. And he's just muttering to himself, Bestine, Bestine 4, and he scratches his dry, leathery, wrinkly, gray skin. Bestine 4, the water world? Oh, no. I'm from a desert planet. I don't even think I can swim that well. Why does it always have to be a water world? A cold world, a water world? Can't we just go to some normal planet for once?
I'm just gonna point at myself with my quarantine tentacles twitching when he says, "Why does it have to be a water world?" And be like,
yeah, well, that's great for you, isn't it?
Look, I just had to make a snap decision. It was entirely random.
Going to be in Tatooine or something. Just gotta be a water
That's a
world.
planet.
And I'll just wander off and just keep muttering to myself.
I'm just going to reach out as he leaves the cockpit. I'm just going to reach out and like tap the button that like locks the cockpit door. I know we've got like an Imperial sleeper agent on board. I don't fancy someone walking up behind me and just like popping me in the back of the head while I'm trying to concentrate on flying the ship. Safety first.
More suspicious activity from the pilot.
Very true. And you know, probably a very good thing. Now, it's going to take approximately 36 hours to get to Bestine from where you are. Unless there's something in particular that anyone really wants to do on board the ship, anything you want to look for, anything you know, if you want to make like a general inventory of what you have, anything in particular, just let me know, and then if not, then I will just advance time.
Okay, Mike, I would actually like to do a quick check on the computer there to see if the shuttle has any information, A, on anything that we would know as the Prime, and B, like I said, if there is any kind of either security footage of the ship itself or any way to know who else was on board at any time, kind of like if one of us specifically was on board.
Definitely. And before, as you're about to type in and run through the security logs on board the vessel, you just happen to look down and you notice that the data pad is now sitting at 100%. It is now unlocked.
So being, again, completely kind of naive and still, even though he's looking for this information, he would easily share it. Oh, hey, everyone, look, the data pad is open now. We should take a look and figure out what's on here. It could be important to us.
Finally, it's about time.
And I'll sit there right.
Move in. Go ahead.
I'm sitting right there in front, kind of like nodding and still cleaning the gun that I've been working on, not necessarily cleaning it. And then as Cosmo comes in, I'm like, you seem to know weapons very well. You should take charge of knowing what kind of weapons we have on board and what needs to be fixed and cleaned if you can. If it's too much of a hassle, then it's no worries. And kind of like, I'm just waiting for an answer as he's going to say what he's saying.
And Kojima is just like scratching his head again, thinking, why me? But all right, sure, I can help you out with that. Sure, pass me the guns. I'll inventory everything.
Not these ones yet. I'm making myself a better weapon than was before. But everything else. The helmets of that snow trooper. I need that. I'm gonna try to retrieve the communications device from it.
Okay, so if there's an extra data pad laying around that's not being used by Spec, then I'll just commandeer that and start, logging in the inventory of what we've got so far and checking everybody's gear and just logging everything into the data pad. But he's still really primarily interested in what Spec's about to say.
Yeah, now that the other one is no longer needed to be slaved, I would definitely easily be able to unplug it and hand it off to you. That's cool.
Okay. What did you find out?
Well, that's an interesting question. Let me just pull everything up.
And as you hit the keys and punch it, the data pad gives you the following information. It is a report on the rebel activity on Bestine. And I'm going to consult my notes because that's how I roll. The rebel influence of Bestine 4, the percentage of people who not only support the rebellion, but how much influence they have on the planet is almost around 46%. Almost half the people support Bestine 4. The major industry of Bestine is the Imperial Naval Surface Shipyard. It is codenamed Juggerhead. The Imperial Naval Surface Shipyard, which is an excessively hard thing to say, trust me, try it. Juggerhead is very good at creating frigate-sized vessels extremely quickly, and they are almost a necessity for this region of space. They import a lot of raw materials and a lot of tech gear. There are 3 major cities: Barletta, Gasha, and Janae, which Janae is the capital, and it was where a lot of displaced people from Bestine got moved when the Imperials created this shipyard, pushing these people onto one of the extremely few land masses that are on Bestine. There is a rebel safe house in Bestine. It is Habitat 365, a building in the older area of Janae. The cell leader is a Bothan known as Arshan. And the complement is at least 1 to 2 companies of rebel troops, infiltrators and spies in that area. And that is what you get or glean from the data pad. And it looks like this data pad was someone trying to access this data so they could go to Bestine as quickly as possible.
All right, Spec seems to be piling up these computer questions that are coming his way. A number of things that he needs to look at, and he's kind of having a little bit of trouble focusing on one task at a time. Because he's got this now, he wants to check out the security videos, and he also wants to, again, just kind of see what's going on with everything. And so he would turn to the rest of the crew and kind of data pad in each hand, kind of be like looking for what there's too many tasks, too many things to do. What should I do, guys?
I'm going to come on the intercom and say, is there any chance that anyone can access the shuttle systems while I'm flying and see whose biometrics actually opened the hatch?
That's one of the things I should do. So many busy.
I prioritize that highly.
And Kojima will get on the comm system and say, Satan, weren't you the first one on the ship? Who else could have opened it except you?
Well, the message did say that it was any of the when the agent got within 20 feet of the ship. We were all pretty close when it opened.
Technically, Mercer and I were still in the gunfight, and so was Varric. Just you and the medic were the first 2 on the ship. That's all I remember.
I'll press the button to unlock the door, and I'll say, in which case I suggest that someone be in here with me, and that none of us be left alone at all times, just in case whatever this agent is triggered somehow remotely. We have no idea how this thing works.
in his naivety, Spec would be like, "Wow, somebody's a spy. Huh, that's pretty cool." Oh, and head back down to the computers. I would probably run that computers check now at this point if I can get a difficulty on that.
Sure. The difficulty is 4.
Okay. And no destiny points to flip. Oh, success and 5 threat.
Okay. So you tell me the success, what you find, or what you see, and I'll tell you the threat.
Okay, so specifically, I see sometime within the last 24 hours of us having the escape from Hoth, I see a figure that kind of blurs on and blurs off of the video, and no matter how much I slow it down or no matter how I try to get the angles, I can't quite tell who it is. But I would then kind of pull that up onto the big screen and show the others as a way for them to maybe have some input on that as well.
Excellent. Now, you're with the threats. What happens is that as you pull it up and as it starts to play, you also see that the individual keeps like almost blinking out, like winks out a bit, and then you see him move, and then winks out a bit, and then you see him move, almost as if the individual isn't quite there, but is there.
This is very, very strange, gentlemen. The computer shows a direct timeline, but something's missing. Something isn't right here. See, you can see him, and I point at the screen, and here gone, almost ghost-like.
What was that name?
Well, go ahead.
What was that name you said again? Was that Arshan? And he was
Yes.
And he's a. You said he was a Bothan. Well, this was in character.
Yeah. Arshan is a Bothan. And actually, Arshan is a feminine name. It's a woman's name.
And you said that she is the leader of the 365 habitat. And I seem to recall. No, that's too easy, but it makes sense. And I'm kind of waiting for someone to like to spit it out. What's going on? So I'm like, so someone can do that if they want. No, it can't be that easy.
Spit it out. What's going on?
Okay, most of you might not know, but Arshan is a Bothan, female. She's a leader of the 365 habitat, which happens to be a rebel area that's a safe house. I wonder if she's a part of the Bothan spy net. She could help us retrieve this information or have people in their sort that could help us with this. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm probably mishearing the name and thinking of someone that is affiliated. So don't mind me. I'm going to step back to fixing my gun.
With his ears kind of twitching back and forth, he expected to be like, "You want spies to help us find spies who are spying on spies?"
No, they're not just any spies. They're spies for the rebellion. They're our spies. They've been at this since before I was even born.
Well, that certainly sounds better than giving the list to this Jix or an Imperial agent. Definitely we should put this in rebel hands.
On the comms, I'm going to say, are you sure it's wise us going to a rebel base when one of us on board may be an Imperial spy? We could be putting the whole alliance at risk.
It would be, but until we find out who this is, we don't know who it is. And I even get this look like, I hope it's not me. Even though I know my background in training and everything I've done, and it's like, I mean, it's hard to say, but I think for now, it's safe to say that whoever it is, whoever of us five, we don't even know. We may not even know. And so at this point, getting down to figuring out what this list is and how we can help correct it. How we can help them so that if they do know about most of this information, that we can stop them. No, it's just too easy. We could be leading them to them too. You're right. I need time to think.
The only way I can think of ensuring that whichever is the spy doesn't get to the rebel base is if we take the shuttle somewhere else. That's the only way I can think of guaranteeing it. Like you say, we've no idea who the spy is. It could be me, it could be any of us. We don't know.
Problem is, the master list is on this ship, and we just don't know how it looks, what it is.
Quick question. Sorry to interrupt, but Celine, did you lock did you actually lock the door to the cockpit? So now you're just talking to them by comms, or is it?
I did originally, but I unlocked it when Kojima brought up the fact that I could be the actual spy, and I sort of unlocked it and said, well, if one of you wants to like stand with me in case I get activated and crashes into a sun or something similar.
Cool. Make me a perception check, difficulty 1.
Okay. Let's see how this goes then. Just form a perception skill, there we go. That's 3 successes.
As you're talking to Coach Maul, you just notice that Varric has just like right behind you and is sitting down in the co-pilot seat. Until then, you like virtually saw nothing. But just before he was going to surprise you, he sat down in the co-pilot seat.
I've just been turning round as I was about to sort of like shout back through the door and say, "Does anyone want to come and actually keep an eye on me?" And I'm like, "Ah! Oh, we stop doing that. These are very delicate instruments."
My apologies.
And Kojima will hear the scream from the cockpit over the comms because you were just talking to us over the comms, and he'll say, "What is it? What happened?"
It's nothing. It's just Varric.
Damn it, Varric! We already told you so many times. Stop sneaking around on people. Save it for the Imperials.
So at this time,
go ahead.
Sorry, are any of us aware that Prime and Varric are connected at all?
Nope.
Okay.
Kojima
still
doesn't know that.
Yeah, still looking at that again, like the data pad. If another check is required, in terms of we looked at who was coming on and off the ship, but is it possible to still again look up just information and data, like in the? I'm assuming that we have kind of access to the general database of knowledge in the galaxy, kind of thing.
You definitely. Yes, I mean you definitely have like enough knowledge, like the basic stuff. So like Galnet news. Like little things like that. You do have access to that.
Yeah, I want to do like a general search of the term the Prime, and see what I can come up with in terms of like running a protocol program kind of thing.
No, not a problem. But before you try and make another check as far as military-wise, absolutely everything has been wiped clean, and not only has it been wiped clean, but it's been wiped clean by someone who's very, very good at slicing. Yeah. This guy is like, whoever this is an expert slicer.
Nice. Would I know that had been sliced away? Like, would I be able to tell just by a simple like, oh, there's actually no data here?
Well, I mean,
or would I just have like I just wouldn't be able to find anything?
You would, yeah. You wouldn't be able to find a darn thing. And even with some computer knowledge that you have, because I believe you do have some computer knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could definitely tell that it's like someone who really likes electronica music and is listening to a DJ going, "Hey, wow, that's pretty cool, but man, I could never do anything like that. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would inform the others. Well, other than the information that we have in these pads, it seems that everything is gone. I'm not sure if I triggered that by using the the other data and kind of motions, making the finger clicking.
What about the list? Is the list still intact?
Just to clarify too, like the data pads did not contain the list at this point, right?
The data pads do not contain the list because the list is massive. I mean, for almost every world between the core and wild space, there contains, rebel cells, rebel sympathizers, reports on every single one, down to very minute details. So something like that, you would need a very large computer, and it would be one that would be like stored aboard a ship.
Okay, I would, having a general sense of computers, I would definitely kind of say, well, I think that knowing the amount of information and data, and I would kind of do like a quick kind of calculation on a screen kind of thing, and I kind of turn it around and be like, we're looking for something around this size, and I would show a picture of a general size of a computer or a storage space.
Excellent. And as far as so going back to the the information, for starters, Mercer, one of the blaster rifles that you have that you were taking apart does have an optics attachment upon it. The other blaster rifle is just a standard blaster rifle. Think like an iron sights, rifle kind of a deal, very stock. Both of those can be taken apart, put together. If you wish to try and customize it in a sense that you're trying to make like a really help me out here, like a really I want to say mastercraft, but like
more of a superior. It's just getting all the best pieces of all three of the guns. Basically, what I'm.
Not a problem. If you wish to do that now, I would just ask you to make a 4 mechanics check.
I'm not ready to do that just yet.
Not a problem.
Try, but I don't want to break it. I don't want to break any of the pieces. If I know I'm not going to be able to do it now, I'm going to try. I'll try again later. Sure. When I'm a little more. So that's one less. One yellow. Hold on. Wow. Oh, that's right, because that's stopping me. My notes. Let's see here. Mechanics. 2, 1, and 4. Okay, here we go for the first attempt. I have a feeling that I'm going to break it, so I'm not going to try to jam it into place because it should click nicely. And if it's not clicking, I'm not going to jam it. And that's how I'm feeling for the success. So you can now do the failure on it.
Because you're trying to because you've taken them apart, and taking them apart is generally simple because one screw comes out and then certain things, it's all like a process. Now that you have these out and you've put one together, but relatively well, maybe fixed up the circuitry and everything else, but you do notice that when you hold it in your hand, it does feel very very warm to the touch. Like there might have been one wire that maybe it didn't quite put together perfectly, and so it does feel very hot to the touch. But other than that, I mean, it's not catching on fire or anything, but it does feel very warm.
All right, I'll start immediately taking that apart and trying to find the reason why it is, because it shouldn't be feeling that way at all.
Okay. So now we'll go to Kojamal. You have started a list on a spare data pad.
Yep.
And I'll just read off what you find in the on the ship.
Okay.
So you find aboard the vessel. In the main hold, you find a few crates. Those crates contain basically just like clothing, but just clothing for like just like ratty clothing. Like nothing that's no armor or anything. It's just like standard clothes, but something that someone would wear if they wanted to like blend in.
Okay.
So it's just everyday clothes, nothing nothing crazy.
Civilian clothing.
Yeah. You also find two completely empty data pads, like completely like wiped clean data pads. Just it's like when you get a brand new tablet.
Mhm.
In another one, you find some mountaineering equipment. You find a grapple hook and some rope.
Okay.
You also find in one of the lockers you find an Imperial officer's uniform, just the one.
Okay.
It looks like it would fit someone of kind of a slight size, like not someone like big and bulky, but someone like skinny.
Someone more like Varric, not Mercer.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
You also find enough food and water for approximately 4 days.
Okay.
And finally, you do find, and this is the one that strikes you as a bit odd, because there's always one odd sock. And what you find is a piece of paper. And paper is just one of those things where it's like, why paper when you have, data pads?
Mm-hmm.
And on the piece of paper is a letter that is actually penned, and it says, "My dear friend, I understand what you must be going through. Currently, things do look rather grim for the Empire. But I want you to know that regardless of how you may feel, regardless of what ails you or what worries you, the Empire is eternal. Know that what we are doing is going to save many lives and is going to bring a swift end to this rebellion, so that the Emperor, Lord Vader, and those who have most supported them shall rule in the galaxy." And it is signed by Admiral Ozzel.
Okay, so I'm gonna just say that I perhaps found that piece of paper in one of the lockers with the other stuff when I was searching the ship, and along with the Imperial officer uniform and things like that. Okay, I'm going to return to the others, and I'm gonna pass around the paper, and I'm gonna say, "Looks like we found something from this Admiral Ozzel that has to do with this Unit 88 business. There's also an Imperial officer's uniform. What do you guys make of this?" And I'll pass it around to each of them. Except, I guess, Varric and Salem, because they're in the cockpit area. So this would be Mercer and Spec at first. Then I'll go to the cockpit after.
Unit 88. Admiral Ozzel. Yeah, well, nobody. Wait. Handwritten. Why would he not be traced? Maybe. Yeah, we definitely need to. I didn't want to. You guys made a good argument, but I think taking this ship, taking everything we find to them, is going to help the spy net. And yeah, I think that is where we need to head. If we, I think we can find the coordinates to where this the safe house 365 habitat. I think they'll know who we are. We gotta definitely take this information to them if we are to even try to find which one of us is, or how to stop it from being awakened.
Well, the thing that worries me about this is they wrote it on paper, so it couldn't be traced. But if it was so important, and it also contains the name of this admiral, why would they just leave it behind?
To make it look like maybe he did it, like he's the one behind it, and some other greater is behind it.
You know, I'm not good at this spy stuff. I'm not the smartest soldier in the trenches. I'm just good at blowing shit up. But one thing I know is we can't just start doubting each other and second guessing each other. That way lies madness. If there is a spy, he will be revealed, and then he will meet Amshak's glory. That I can guarantee. Until then, we have to trust each other until such time that we know for sure we cannot.
And I will look up from how I'm working. I will put a hand on his shoulder, and it's going to be rest heavy. And I'm like, you're right. None of this who's the spy nonsense. We are all soldiers for the rebellion. You bring a great cause. Therefore, at this point, we need to trust each other. You are correct. We need to put ourselves in each other's shoes of how we feel, move forward, and let someone else help us dig, since a lot of us are new to this information, new to what's happening. We were supposed to just figure out a rendezvous point. At this point, we're in something deeper than none of us were ready for. And I'll look at Spec, just to kind of get his facials and his little ears moving and twitching and kind of like listening to everything all at once. I take it you're probably one of the smartest ones here. And what do you think? I mean, are we thinking wrong? Cosmos hit it on the head with the nail. And I say, just like that, completely mess up the thing.
So looking up from the computers and the data pads, Spec would kind of take a moment to make eye contact with both of them, and under his breath he'd be like, vital signs normal, no signs of stress or trauma, like that, and then he would kind of give a quick smile and nod and be like, I think you've hit it right, and give the kind of thumbs up to him. And then he would kind of turn back around and be like back on the data pad and on the computer.
Well, I'll take this to the cockpit and see what the others think. See if they have any other input on this, and then we can maybe reach a decision what we should do next. And then I'll go up to the cockpit.
Yeah, I'll follow, and I'll kind of like, Spec, let's go. This is a group chat.
As they're walking into the cockpit, I'll just be sat there sort of looking down at the instrumentation, and I'll be sort of saying to Varric, Varric, I've spent almost the entirety of my life on the run from the Empire and trying to do what I could against them. And I'll glance down at it where his force pike is, no doubt, within arm's reach, and say, however, if I do prove to be this spy and I'm activated somehow, I trust I can rely on you to do what's necessary, Varric.
You have my word.
And then, under my breath, I'll say, and of course, if you're the spy, I won't really have to ask you to do what's necessary. I find that oddly comforting, Varric. And then, as they come in, I'll sort of, no, never mind that. What's our destination? Are we heading to the rebel base, or
365 habitat.
have we got the coordinates?
And I'm actually going to let it go from the author who said it, and I'll look at Kajma, and I'm like, you said it. I think you need to say it again.
Okay, so when he gets the cue from Mercer, Kojima will look at Varric and Saline, especially when they just like when these guys walk in. He's gonna let that pass, and he's gonna say, "Listen, there's been a lot of talk. Who's the spy? Who's not the spy? Who's the sleeper agent? We can't get caught up in all of that. We're serving together. We're brothers. We lay down our lives for each other. We will anytime. That's the way we have to stay on track here. We don't know who the spy is. We may never know who the spy is. Until then, we have to keep trusting each other. And if the spy is revealed, we will all do what's necessary."
I wipe a bit of sort of moisture away from the corner of my eye and say, "Oh, sorry, I appear to have got a bit of dust from this cockpit in my eye." No, I think you're absolutely right. I'm perfectly willing to trust all of you, as you say. We're putting our lives in each other's hands. The thought that I myself might be the spy and wouldn't even know it, I can't think of anything more disgusting given how I've seen the Empire kill my friends and enslave my world. I was simply asking Varric that if I turned to be the spy, I could trust him or any of you to do what is necessary. But you're right. Until then, we need to keep our eyes on the goal and rely on each other as we have been doing so far.
And I'll put one of each hand on shoulders of Eric and Salin. And all right, it has been said, we need to trust each other. And you notice the hands are pretty heavy on you because it's just like I'm resting myself. And right now, just fly true, keep us safe. Tell us what you need to be done, and we'll do it.
Just give me the coordinates and I'll take us in.
Well, once we get in, all we got to do is do a little footwork and find out whereabouts is 365 habitat, but we got to do it discreetly. I'll come up with a plan with that of how we're going to do it. For now, we should be there. Should be there pretty quickly, within what, maybe 6, 7, 8 hours.
Okay, taking us in, and I'll start making the arrangements to take us into planetary orbit using whatever coordinates we've got for this habitat.
Okay. Then, if that's the case, I need. So, if you're going to be coming out of hyperspace around Bestine, can you please make me a piloting check? A difficulty of, or sorry, correction, a piloting or astrogation, whichever one you prefer. It'll be a difficulty of 3.
It's piloting.
And keep in mind before you roll really quick, Varric, you can, since you are a co-pilot, you do have the ability to assist.
All right, I'll re-roll.
And how does that work exactly? I make a roll as well.
If memory serves me correctly, it works in the sense that whoever has the higher stats, you apply that to it. So, for example, if you had a piloting that was a bit higher, or I think it's wisdom, is the piloting.
It's agility.
Agility? Yeah, so if your agility was higher than John's character.
My agility is 3.
I'm also on 3 yellow for piloting.
Okay, then I guess it wouldn't really help, but if you want to assist, you can give him a boost die. Let's go with that.
Okay, then yeah, I'll assist.
I'll re-roll that with the boost dice out of there.
Okay. My apologies. Should have. 1 advantage? Okay. You actually, I tell you what, why don't you tell me how you narrowly miss colliding with a TIE fighter?
Okay. Now, obviously, my character's been entirely distracted, and I'm wrapped up in this whole idea of thinking, oh my god, what if I'm the Imperial spy? I mean, normally the Imperials don't have non-humans in positions like that, but it'd be the last thing anyone would expect them to do. And I'm sort of worried about that, and I've been talking to these guys, and at the last minute my head snaps round as I feel the vibration running through the shuttle saying that we're coming out of hyperspace, and I see this TIE fighter in front of me, and last minute I throw the controls to the left, the whole ship tilting at a 45-degree angle as we go, just narrowly missing it, probably scratching the paintwork as we head past it.
Mike, you're muted again. I
Your
think.
mic, you're muted.
I am getting so tired of this microphone. I love it, but I hate it. But anyway, before you see the planet of Bestine, beautiful, like pristine blue marble, only broken up by various clouds, of just white lines just around it, gorgeous. Unfortunately, it is marred. The view is marred by all of these Imperial frigates in different states of being completed. Most of them are mostly finished, and a lot of them you see shuttles being taken back and forth between the planet's surface and the ships themselves. What looks to be possibly ferrying supplies, ferrying troops and crew to get these things underway and ready for the great Imperial war machine. How would you like to proceed to the planet?
Okay, I'm going to try and dip into the atmosphere a little bit away from where we're going and then correct course once we enter the atmosphere. So we've just narrowly missed this TIE fighter, and I'll be sort of wrenching the controls back to the right to straighten us up a bit, but I don't want to run the risk that the TIE fighter is going to follow us or sort of extrapolate our landing coordinates from the way we're going. So I'll be heading in at an angle, so a little bit away from where we're heading to, and then correcting as we get into the atmosphere, hoping that the fighter doesn't follow us.
All right. Aha! I muted myself that time. Gosh, I'm so proud of myself. There we go. And so you begin to fly down. So do you want to try and get into line with the other ships going in, or do you just want to make your own way? From the looks of it, from where you have to go, the ships are definitely kind of heading in slightly the opposite direction, more towards what you can even see, even though the planet's surface is far away. Even from orbit, you can just make out this vast complex of black sitting on this beautiful ocean. That would be most likely Juggerhead.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to head in a similar direction to them, but then just as I come through the atmosphere, I'm going to veer off and skirt the atmosphere as I head towards our true destination, hoping that atmospheric interference will mask where we're going.
I like it. Definitely make me a piloting check, and Varric, make me a perception check, difficulty 4. John, your piloting check is difficulty 3.
Do I still get a bonus from Varric assisting me as co-piloting?
I'll tell you what, if Varric, if you decide to give Celine the boost die, you will have 1 setback die to your difficulty 4 perception check, or you can negate both by just taking the perception check and not giving him the boost for piloting. Because Celine is going to have to make two piloting checks.
I will give him the boost dice.
Okay.
So it's one of the black ones that I'll need.
Yeah, you'll need a black one for your perception check, and Celine, and a 4 difficulty. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me it's a failure, 2 advantages, and whatever the best one's called, I forget.
Okay, so
Triumph.
you get both wait, is that a failure or is that a despair?
It's a failure, 2 advantages, and a triumph.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you what. That's exceptional, to a degree. That is very exceptional. Why don't you tell me how? Tell me how the not only the triumph and the 2 advantages, and then I'll go with the failure.
Okay, so I'm going to say that as I come out into the lower atmosphere, I manage to maneuver and veer off the course, compensating for the shearing effect of the atmosphere and the heat dissipation of the atmosphere, so that we don't burn up on entry, and steer the ship towards our true coordinates, dipping out of the atmosphere some distance away from where anyone who was following our trajectory would guess we are. And then I start heading straight down, trying to pull up into a slightly more shallow angle of approach for our landing.
Excellent. The only thing is another shuttle kind of had the same idea as you, and they were not going to Juggerhead. They were basically trying to like fly back over to Janae in order to pick up supplies, and unfortunately, you guys kind of clip ever so slightly, and it knocks your trajectory off ever a bit, and you kind of have a hard time. And so what I'd like you to do is to make me another piloting check. This time it's a difficulty of 4 to get to where you're going. And actually, before you jump on that, we'll just hold off on you for a sec. No, that's cool. Make the roll. That's cool. Dennis, how was your? Oh,
Bad.
yeah.
Fail on 2 threat.
You know what? You're cool. Stars are pretty, and the ocean's like this really nice blue. And yeah, things are good. Things are good. So you just hang out there and be all like brooding and ninja-like, silent. And we're gonna go back to John. Hey, buddy. So hey, that's what I'm talking about. Look at that success and advantage. Man, you just took that difficulty and throat punched it. I like it. So let's see. Let's talk to me. Let's see how you get to Janae.
We've clipped this other shuttle, and everyone's stood in the cockpit, presumably. So I'm just going to shout, "Get back and strap in! This might be a bumpy landing!" And then I'm going to be like wrestling with the controls as I'm trying to correct our trajectory, and sort of occasionally punching like wind direction and stuff like that into the console next to me, frantically trying to work out how I can correct this and not look like I'm the worst pilot in the history of the Rebel Alliance. And then as I sort of hit a layer of slightly stiller air, everything seems to slow down and level out. The vibrations through the ship stop, and I'm able to pull it back onto course and slowly start realigning with our original landing coordinates.
That is awesome.
As we're going through, he's doing the bumpy. Is coming. I'm struggling to get to in between the door, and I'm going to brace myself using my back against one side of the door and the other, trying to keep myself at least stable this way, and spreading my feet so that I'm stable going from side to side as well.
I fall into him.
Nice.
That's the best thing I've heard in a while. And what do you do? I just fall into him, whatever. I mean, he was just sitting there, and well, it's his own damn fault.
Kojima would have strapped it, and he just would have pulled his blaster out again, checked it, and then holstered it again. And he's holding on to the straps, and he sees Spec fall across the shuttle into Mercer, and he just kind of lifts his legs up so that Spec can fall past him unimpeded, and then put his legs back down again.
Perfect, perfect. So you are now above the ocean, and if anyone had a thought to try and look back, if it's possible, you could even see that the swelling of the ocean and even the local fauna, huge flying fish like the size of an ocean-bound tuna, but like a 12-foot wingspan, just like leaping out of the water, and I mean just glittering off the sun as these beautiful like silver and red and black fish just fly and just seem to glide almost beside your ship like an escort, just flying and just like landing back with these like huge splashes. Even the contrails of your vessel as it's heading into Janae, just like shooting back twin contrails of sea foam, and then there you see it, this massive spire of rock, like one lonely person standing waiting for a savior, is just bursting forth out of the ocean. This rock is dotted with what appears to be buildings all around, and it is quite a sight. People have built homes along the side of this rock, and you can almost see that the spires are honeycombed. There are paths and roads and everything going through and around this spire, all the way down to the very base. And on the base, you see what looks like a landing platform. And as you are beginning to make your final descent into Janae, a message, or at least an incoming communication, blinks on.
I'll patch it through to the rest of the shuttle so we can all hear it.
Ah, my friend. I see you've shown up. Well, it's about time. I was wondering when you would get off that godforsaken ice cube. Well, I am assuming that you're going to be coming to the bad motivator, the cantina, for the master list. You do remember at least that much, I hope. If the Admiral's message on board his ship was able to reach your implant, then it shouldn't be a problem. Just meet me aboard meet me at the bad motivator. You can buy me that drink you owe me. Unless, of course, you actually remember that it is I that owe you a drink, but it's besides the point. At any rate, it does not matter. Just make certain that you get that damn list to me.
I'm going to hit mute on the sort of outgoing comms, and then over our internal comm link, I'm going to shout, Spec, check any of us for any sort of implant.
Spec will pick himself up off of Mercer.
Stop with me, I'm driving.
And yes, he will take out kind of reach into his med pack that he's got in his waist, just a small portable one, and he'll take out like a magnifying glass, and he'll start kind of running it over visible parts of each of their bodies to see if he can locate any kind of medical anomaly.
Certainly.
When he gets to Kojamal eventually, Kojamal's still like strapped in, and his gray leathery skin is actually a little bit paler than usual, and he's like looks like he's a little bit almost perspiring, and his eyes are closed tight, and he's very pointedly not looking at the vast expanse of water that's underneath him in this ship as they approach the spire. And he's just like mumbling and muttering to himself when Spec approaches.
Spec will kind of reach over to him and kind of pat him on the shoulder, and not understanding exactly why he's figuring it out, but he'll take out his canteen, open his canteen, and hand him the drink of water.
Kojima will just stare at Spec like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Complete
thanks.
innocence,
I'm not
complete
thirsty.
naive, bare innocence.
There's plenty of
And he says,
water
well,
down there.
Well, keep your eyes open for a second. Gotta do a check. Gotta do a check. Check. And would that be medical or xenology or what do we?
You know what? Either one. Either one.
Okay,
Either
I would choose
medicine.
medical.
That's what I kind of figured. Sorry, I
And
probably
difficulty?
should. Yeah, I was gonna say I should probably mention. Yeah, it's difficulty of 4.
Okay. Just to throw it there as well, with the physician's kit, I'll get a 1 auto advantage, which will cancel out the threat, thank goodnessly. So 4 successes and a triumph.
Nice.
So looking around on each of the guys, I kind of motion each of them to stand up in their turn and kind of pulling parts and feeling across, trying to find back of heads, necks, arms, like legs, thighs, anywhere that somewhere would be easy to put in a subcutaneous kind of implant. And so, am I able to find such a thing on any one or more member of the team?
When it comes to his turn, Varric will stare at Spec through the slits in his mask, and after a moment he'll nod, giving permission, though at a couple points he might hear a soft growl coming from the man as he's searching him.
Alright, so reaching Varric especially, like, you can see he kind of gingerly pulls the hood back kind of deal, and he kind of leans in, he's like, "Don't worry, I won't tell them." And he kind of pulls the mask off just enough so that he can reach underneath kind of thing, so he's kind of like got his fingers in Varric's face. And then lets go of the mask a little bit too quickly. Snaps back on his face. And after searching the 4 people, Spec will then do a self-analysis as well. So he's going to... And before
Excellent.
triumph-wise, yeah, unless you want the triumph to be that he finds or not, then I would kind of wait for a result to figure out that.
No, that's totally fine. You definitely find a subcutaneous implant, and we're definitely going to find out which one that is next time.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
see what I did there?
You bastard!
As a matter of fact, to make up for my earlier failure, I'm just going to go ahead and post this as a tide change.
Nice.
And
Nice.
not only can the players decide, but the viewers at home can also decide who has an implant.
Oh
Nice.
man, that's diabolical.
It is.
Who's gonna get voted off the island?
But here's the thing though, is there are many reasons why you have an implant. And as a matter of fact, one of the tide changes will be that all of you have an implant. So there you go.
Love it.
That will be my contribution to that. So so I'll actually I'm gonna post it now. See, that's the one thing I can't do. It's hard for me to do the thing where stuff happens and the talking and then while I'm typing. I don't know how people do that. Like, I work construction. I smash things. Great at smashing things. But then when it comes to like typing, oh, see, now I did it wrong. Anyway, what we'll do is I'll just go ahead and just end it up here. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for sitting with us, especially the two viewers that have slogged it out for the 3.5 hours that we started. And I'm going to go back from left to right, starting with Dennis, now known as Varric. Dennis, if you could give your outro, please.
Hey everyone, yeah, I'm Dennis, and I played Varric Mar. I had a great time. Thank you to the GM and the players.
Right on. And Dev, who is now Kojamal.
Yeah, so I'm Dev from the YouTube channel What the Dice, and yeah, I also had a great time. You know, Mike's a great GM, and these are awesome players, and I can't wait for the next session.
Thank you very much, but I'll always say that it takes great players to make a great game. So you guys have done outstanding. Unsurprisingly. Like, you guys, seriously. Oh. Anyway, sorry. Next up, we have Gabe, who is now known as Mercer, who will always be known as Mercer, who is going to the law court tomorrow to change his name to Mercer. Go ahead, Mercer.
Well, thank you. I want to thank everybody for watching. For those who will be watching, because if you're at work or some other situation, I definitely enjoyed this game a lot, and I want to thank everybody here, Dennis, Devin, Ryan, and John, and of course Mike for leading us in this little rampage. And be as devious as you want with those votes. Don't worry about whoever votes voted. Vote it for who you would want it to be. I'm not sure if he's going to do multiple votes, but have fun with it. I mean, you've got another couple of weeks, and we'll probably be back for you. So this is Mercer signing out.
Thank you kindly. Next up, we have Ryan, who is known as Spec.
Riker Ryan, also from What the Dice, and yeah, I've had a blast here. Just to echo everything everybody else said, we've been a good group. I've been happy to work with these guys on this, and Mike, you've led us into some deep shit here, and we're going to see how we can dig ourselves out of it, and we're going to have a blast doing it. So to everybody who did watch, thanks a lot. Everybody's going to watch. Rock on. We'll see y'all next time.
And of course, last but certainly not least, the world's greatest Quarren, John, Celine, you, sir.
Well, I think everyone's pretty much said everything that I wanted to say here. Great group of players, great jam, thoroughly enjoyed the game. I love the way that some of the decisions that we've not got around to making, you sort of like what ship we were going to end up on, you wrapped into actual sort of icy decisions in the game. That was absolutely brilliant. Thoroughly enjoyed the session. Looking forward to the next, which I'm sure will start with someone going, "Get it out! Get it out!" Can't wait for the next session. Thank you very much for running it.
Awesome. Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, I am Mike the Piper. This is my channel. You've tuned in. Hopefully you give it a subscribe. Definitely give it a like, because these guys are totally worth the like. And I cannot wait to bring you guys another episode of The Heart of the Empire.